Hello. Hi. Good evening, everybody. Please, if you can hear me, please just introduce yourself as you join, please.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you, Brian. Sometimes to admit everybody as they're joining. So please kindly mute yourself. Speakers are ready. Yeah, welcome. Hi, please can you hear me? Please someone should unmute and talk, please.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Very clear.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so trying to reach out to my first speaker is available. It's about joining. So we could commence. We have just a few people. I'm sure others will join with time. Okay. Yeah, so my name is Josiah. My name is Josiah Olofini. I manage JCS, JAPA Crew Scholars community in the meantime. So I'm happy to have everybody on board. And thank you for joining this bootcamp event. So this event is okay. Yeah, so my first speaker is on board. So in the next few minutes, I'm just going to tell us about JCS. It's a community. It's where we do. It's called do it yourself. Yeah, DIY. So you do it yourself in this community. There is really no need for you to pay any agent or pay anybody to help you through this process. So it's something that requires dedication and you understanding the intricacies of graduate school and how it works. So here we'll be demystifying everything that is necessary for you to understand in sailing through this process. So I'll be calling on my first speaker. His name is Emmanuel Piasu. Yeah, he's resuming graduate school this year, fall 2024 at Texas. So Emmanuel, I don't know if are you ready? Can you? I've made you a call, so I'd like you to start now, please. Thank you.
Okay. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so my background is good afternoon, everyone. A good day. Try to play your trade. So I'll be sharing my slides now.
Emmanuel, please, can you tell us what okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Sorry.
Okay.
The place I am is kind of noisy.
Okay, no problem. It's fine. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So I'm trying to share my screen. Okay, so it's sharing. I guess you guys can see my screen.
Yes, I can. I can't see it. I don't know. Can someone else also confirm that? All right, thank you. Please let's go.
Okay. So my name is Emmanuel Kwesu. I'm currently a data scientist working with AB in and actually a potential graduate student for the University of Texas as hosting. Sorry, I don't know if I'm clear because my background is actually noisy. If I can relocate to somewhere else.
We can hear you actually.
Okay, so it means it's actually me not hearing you guys. Okay, no problem. So I'm actually here to actually teach us on application for graduate school. Trying to prepare this slide, I actually discovered it was kind of a lot. So 30 minutes interval is a little bit small, but I'll try to as much as possible squeeze in key facts. So one thing I can actually say is my motto actually applies to this graduate school application. Of what discipline, choose consistency. Because according to one of my friends, we say graduate school application is like full-time job. That's actually true because it comprises a lot of research and application. So for today's purpose, I'll be taking us through how to search for schools that align with our interests, researching for schools with funding, as well as how to apply strategically. So this is actually a summary of it. So if you're applying for graduate school, the first and foremost thing is defining your goal. Because for me, I would say, okay, I actually graduated in 2021, November 2021 from the University of Guinea. But then I think in 2021, some of my friends applied for graduate school, but I struggled because then I didn't know what I want. Because I was pushing for data science, but I had the petroleum engineering first degree. So it was more of, do I want to pick one over one? But currently, I'm actually going for both. Because I'm doing petroleum engineering or data science research. So I'm combining both now, which I find that over a year plus work experience. So knowing your goal, what you want to actually help you, then your field of study. So ideally, for most people, I think you want to go for a course that aligns with your first degree for many persons. But for some persons, you might want to change. Probably the job market in your particular field is poor. Or maybe after school, you discover you had a different passion other than your first degree. That's there. But if you are going for a different field, you'll be doing extra work. Then the next thing is to know the country you will be going for. So the idea is, since it's graduate school, I guess our idea is overseas. So the country, Nigeria is out of that country list, and I doubt anybody is considering any other place in Africa. But it's not, location is not really a part, it's just getting the quality education. So when it comes to location, it's actually a big deal. So if I'm going to Europe, if I'm going to Asia, if I'm going to US, Canada, South America, Europe, any location I'm picking actually affects. Because one thing about location is each location has different time interval. For instance, for the US, for the US now, Florida, by December 8th this year, most schools would have been done taking admission application for next year, that's 2025. So if you are targeting the US and you actually get that awareness that you want to go to the US by after December 15th, 2025, there's a high chance you can't go for programs by next year. You'll be considering 2026. So if you are going for the US, the right time to start is now. But if you are going for Canada, currently now, many of Canada applications will close by next month. So you can still meet up with Canada applications. If you are going for Europe, I think for like UK, you can still see some schools. Majority of the schools are done. But I think in places like Germany, you can actually see applications done. For South America, I don't really know anything about the application cycle, but this is how choosing location affects. So choosing location affects how you will apply. That's one. Then the next thing is, for someone like me, when I was taking my graduate school process, I wrote TOEFL instead of IELTS because I knew I am going to North America and not Europe. So if you are going to the UK or many other places in Europe, you want to prioritize taking for English test, prioritize IELTS over TOEFL. But if you are going to North America, particularly the US, you will want to prioritize TOEFL because in the US, TOEFL is kind of the most used there. Many schools, except if your school will demand for something else. So that's where location. So location affects application cycle as well as the kind of requirements. So in the US requirement might be different from that of the UK. The other thing is in terms of securing funding, in UK, for instance, most times people get funding like Commonwealth, Queen's Commonwealth, African Commonwealth. I think we get more scholarship in the UK, but in the US, funding comes from the school directly, or in terms of fellowship, or from companies program. So how funding comes in location varies too, which is why you need to know what you want to study and where you want to study, so that you can start making research. That's why my first claim was graduate school application is like a full-time job. So sometimes you might be frustrated because maybe you'll be checking multiple sites and it's unclear. But you have to do the work to know what suits you. Then the next thing is, now I've identified the country, I've identified the field I want to study. The next thing now is now identifying which research, because now, unlike your first degree, except for those going for professional courses, if you are going for a professional master's or an MBA, you don't need to know a research because it's a course-based role. So what you just need to know is to know courses that align with what will present you to achieve your goal and study those courses. But if you are going for a thesis master's or you are going for a PhD, you need to know what you want to study, your research. So for someone like me in petroleum engineering has reservoir, it has drilling, it has production. You read, if you are going for a master's, a thesis master's, or a PhD, you have to know which part you want to go for. Because unlike undergraduate application, you can just be open that you have passion for this field. But in graduate program, you have to be specific, because you're being specific during your application makes the school knows that you know what you want to achieve. So you need to know your research. Then that research now might not streamline. So for instance, someone like me going for petroleum engineering, I knew already Ivy Leagues were not my thing because most Ivy Leagues are scrapped out petroleum engineering. So I think it's only Princeton you might only Harvard you might see courses, or Stanford you might see courses for geology, but not direct petroleum engineering. But then I needed the direct petroleum engineering, so you know what to do. Then the next thing is, so for now, when it comes to location, I'll focus on the US because it's a lot of information going on location. Because I know I have more idea on how the US work compared to others. So in the US, for instance, there are several schools that does the same course, but they do different research. So another thing is the courses in the US vary. So schools in the US, they teach based on what their region or their state produce. So for instance, like you go to places like Atlanta are more known for their tech, production of tech, optimization. That's where you can find Georgia Tech and all. Those places now, they are more concerned about optimization, routing, sales. Those are the kind of courses you see. You can't find petroleum engineering in Atlanta. It will be difficult. But if you are looking for petroleum engineering, you have to go to the oil producing states like Texas, Oklahoma. That's where you find petroleum. Then Colorado is another place you can find petroleum. And now the next question will now be yes. So if I go into petroleum now and I say, okay, for someone like me, I was on the contemplation, do I want to go for data or petroleum fully? But later I actually discovered that in Texas, that's for Austin, I can actually push for both petroleum as well as data science, because that's their big thing on their research. They combine petroleum and data together. Whereas in places like Colorado School of Mining, they are just more focused on flow. The analysis is more on flow. So they use some data, but they are not really big on the data aspects. And for places like Oklahoma as at last 2 years was big on the data aspect, but of recent, their funding has switched to enhanced oil recovery and hydrogen storage and carbon storage. So you need to know, so to know most of these things, you have to go to the school website, browse through. Then sometimes the school website might not give you what is there. Maybe the news on the school website might give you what is actually the current research. Then the next thing is reaching out to professors. So that's why I say reach out to faculties. This is actually a big advantage during graduate school application, especially when you are going for a research program. Sorry, I don't know if you guys are still with me.
Yeah, we will see
Yes,
you.
yes, we are with you. We are with you.
Okay. So one big thing in graduate school program, especially in the US. So in the UK, that you make use of scholarship, this might not really be big there, but in the US, most times there is really you don't really get financial assistance in terms of scholarship. It's more of in terms of funding, like fellowship, graduate assistance, teaching assistantship, which I'll make emphasis on. And most times, you push your probability of success by reaching out to the professor in that department. So when you know your research you want to do, reach out to professors that have similar research interests or are doing an ongoing. So you don't need to actually know the specific research you want. Just have an idea of the area you are willing and you have that passion to work in, and mail the professor, tell them your criteria. I have this is my CGPA. I graduated at this part of my school. If you've written your exams, your graduate school exams, put it alongside your score. Tell them what you've known about them. Probably you read the research that intrigued you that they wrote, and how you love to work with them, and you like to discuss further. And for me, that was actually my ticket for my study. And that one response was what got me my full-time funding. And for majority of my friends that are in school, I will tell you, out of 10, you see like just, let me say, one person that got funding without reaching out to anybody. But the other 9, they actually got a response. But even if you don't have a response, still make your application. Then after reaching out, after knowing the professors you want to work with, the next thing is know the requirement for that program. So due to COVID, many of these requirements were waived, like all the standard tests like GRE, TOEFL and all. But now they are all coming back now because schools are now saying that the COVID effect is down. And now applications is increasing because of no tests. So now they are trying to screen out people. Like for my school now, they've already announced that for next cycle, you must submit your test results for Texas Austin. So now for Texas Austin, irrespective of what you do, maybe TOEFL might be waived for you, but you must write GRE. That's for the petroleum engineering. I don't know for that part, but you must write the GRE. So you need to know about this standard test and all. Then, like I explained earlier, TOEFL and IELTS are actually the same exam, English proficiency test, but IELTS is prioritized in Europe, TOEFL is prioritized in the US. So knowing your location, although you can use them interchangeably, some schools, as many schools will still accept them, but the best thing is if you know you will be going to the US, there is no need taking the risk of writing IELTS when you can just go for a TOEFL. So it's not worth the risk. Then for GMAT, if you are going for an MBA, GMAT is preferable over a GRE, although GRE is accepted. But if you are sure that you are going for an MBA, why go for the lower probability when you are sure GMAT, except probably your program specify that they want GRE, not GMAT. Then after getting the standard test and all, the next thing is to strengthen your application, which is your statement of purpose. So after writing your test, knowing the school, knowing the professor, one big key thing that make people stand out, I'll actually say if I'm rating graduate school application profile, the first big thing is your statement of purpose. The next big thing is probably reaching out to a professor. But that, if you don't have that to your application, persons actually get admission and full funding without reaching out to a professor. But then reaching out to a professor skyrockets your chances, because most times that professor will most likely monitor your application profile and see how it goes. So if you're a good applicant, they will try to ensure that you get admitted and any funding availability, you get that benefit as well. Like for mine, one of my funding, because I actually got 2 funding, one of my funding was the professor I reached out to that personally submitted my profile for that. So that's the advantage of reaching out to people. But then even though you don't, because like the best person in our set that graduated in my, when we graduated in my set, the best in my overall set, the professor I reached out to, they didn't respond, but still he got full-time funding. It's still possible maybe the professor saw his profile after long on his mail, who knows? But then he got without getting a reply from a professor, so you should reach out. But then if you actually get a contact, it doubles your chances. So your statement of purpose, personal statement, and diversity statement. So these 3 things are actually different, But one thing I can tell you for sure is all schools will tell you to write statements of purpose. So statement of purpose is where you tell the school, this is my passion, I want to pursue this, I want to pursue this course in your school. This is why I want to pursue this particular course. This is why your school is relevant. This is why your state is relevant. This is the goal I'll be able to achieve in my own country. So most times is one thing I see about statement of purpose is that most people write statement of purpose, they use cliche, like words that I'm a very passionate person, I'm a very enthusiastic. Those are cliche words because everybody can tell you that they are passionate. Everybody can tell you they are enthusiastic. What really shows that you are passionate is you trying to put something in your personal life, your personal story that portrays that passion, that portrays that enthusiasm, than telling the person that I'm an enthusiastic person. So if you're writing a statement of purpose, it should not be generic. It should be very specific to you. Then the next thing is making a compliant application, then waiting for your decisions. So during that decision waiting process, if you don't have a professor, you can mail out to more professors till you get a response. So now, one thing I would actually recommend is, I think I'll send Leke this book so you can distribute to everyone. So this is actually a free copy. It's not sold. I actually got this copy when I attended the webinar last year, just like you. So this book is like for writing graduate essays, like statement of purpose, personal statement, diversity statement, which most times, most people do the mistake that they just go to the part where there's sample essay and just read it. But for me, I think this book was one of the big key difference for me last year. Instead of just jumping to the sample essay, I actually said, okay, during my spare time, probably when I was in post, I always go through this book. So I was like, okay, let me read this book. And I read from the chapter 1, the introductory part, to like chapter 4, because from chapter 4, you start getting essay samples. And one thing about this book is it gives you almost all the information anybody. So a bit of everything I'm telling you about graduate school, you find it in this book. How to pick school, how to know funding and all. It will tell you. Then when you pick your schools, most times I always advise people don't pick probably. So you can actually pick one school and you might get it. But most times, so be on the safe side, pick multiple schools. And for one thing I know that is unique to most people with high GPA is that they feel probably writing as the best graduate student or having a first class or maybe having a 5.0 automatically makes you qualified for the big dogs, that is the Ivy Leagues, top schools. So they apply to all top schools and most times disappointment sets in. Because most times for those Ivy Leagues, most times applying to the big school is not just about having an high GPA. It encompasses of your extracurriculum. Probably you have leadership skills, you are a sport person and all. And then you have contact with the professors. And for Ivy League, most times I tell you, when you mail professors in Ivy League, the chances of them replying is very low. Because most times they prefer people they've seen physically. So people in the US have an higher edge on getting into Ivy League than you in Nigeria because they can visit this school. Some of these persons might be working with those professors already. Maybe they are working from a different school, an interdisciplinary or joint project. And through that project, the professor already likes that person and wants that person. So you're just sending them a mail that they don't know you. They always prefer that person they've seen. So that's why just going for Ivy League is not the ideal. So most times, what's advisable based on this graduate admission essay book, which I followed, it's putting your school in 3 categories. So have at least two schools in each of this category. You can actually put one in each category, which makes it 3 schools. But if you are making it 2 in each category, that makes it 6. So one of these schools should be that school that you know you get admission to it. But one thing I can tell you with chances is that most times, most of these schools you know you always get admission to, they don't usually come with funding. They're easy to enter most times, they don't come with funding. The next school is like school that actually match your GPA. So let me say for example, you're a first class guy. The schools ranked within 20 to 40 in the US, there is a high chance you will most likely enter this school, or maybe 50. You enter one of these schools, they'll give you admission because definitely from your profile you stand out, and maybe you have extracurriculum, leadership, and all. But then you most likely enter. Then the last one is the Ivy League. So this is like the Ivy Leagues are kind of like the top 8 schools which I can actually add, let me say, 12 others. So let me say the top 20. So for these schools, these are like the top of the schools. So for these schools, most times the chances of you getting it is like, it's a miracle. It's a miracle, believe me. Most persons that get in there, it's not like they are like the best of the best. There's most times they have, so it's really that they have a good profile, but ultimately there are some level of sentiments that enters because there are many persons with good profile like them. So if you read how to graduate school essay, to tell you more about this.
Hi, Emmanuel. Please can you
Huh?
can you just wrap it up a bit? I think you have about just 5 minutes left for questions on it.
Okay. Okay, so the next thing is some tips from graduate school essay book is you cannot tell how much your school will cost until you are admitted. So most times, most schools, you can't know your funding decision. So there is nothing on the site that says, okay, you'll be getting this percentage, you'll be getting full funding, all this. One tip I used last year to help me with this is I reached out to people on LinkedIn that are in these schools to get an idea. The other thing is the cheaper schools are usually the most expensive schools. Like those easy to enter schools, they are usually cheap schools, but most times they don't give you scholarships, so you pay for everything. But you see the most expensive schools, they're actually the cheaper schools, like those Ivy Leagues. So they are expensive on paper, but most times when you get in, they most likely cover your full tuition or give you more up to 90% discount and so. Then ultimately PhD is cheaper than masters because most PhD are funded, but it spends long time in school. Then in terms of then the other thing it has to do with funding. I guess most likely there are persons that discuss you guys about the funding aspect. Then for graduate school, one thing I would advise you is you can do it alone, but if you can join one of these organizations, like for me, I joined Black in AI, which helped me. So it was a 6 months program. I joined Black in AI. So they guide us through our application process and all. Then you can join Education USA, Michael Tyrell Scholarship. Although Michael Tyrell Scholarship is very hard to join because of the competition. So for Education USA and Michael Tyrell, there's some financial benefit, unlike Black in AI. But Michael Tyrell has more financial benefits than the others. So, okay, before I go for any question, I actually wanted to show you guys something. So when you are doing your graduate school application process, this was one of the benefits I got from Black in AI. So in 2022, I had a sheet I used in designing my school application to just monitor it. But with Black in AI, I had a more detailed sheet for my school application, like the name of the school, the program I want to apply to, the status. This is where I change my status. My ranking on so in the terms of my ranking is I identified those schools that I know I must apply, and those schools I know I might apply, and those schools I have not decided. For the ones I have not decided, I have to mail professors till they respond to me. Then am I making applications? Am I paying for application fee? Then is there application fee waiver? Then what is the deadline? Because you need to know all these things. Do they require standard exam like GRE, TOEFL? Is there SOP required? Personal statements and all. Then professors I would like to work with, I list them all on this sheet. Then who are the recommenders I'll be using? So in terms of my professors, because I was doing many applications and I don't want to overwhelm just one person. So I actually did it. So with this sheet, I was able to get a good draft. And each of this draft was based on all the research I made. So when it comes to searching for schools, you can actually use Google. For something like in the US, I can say the US University ranking. So Lucky, I don't know if you can give me like a 5 minutes extension, but I'll be fast with this part.
Okay, no problem. Please just carry on. It's as fast as possible.
Okay.
The next speaker is okay, no problem.
So you can use something like, so you can do it for any country you're applying to. You can get the idea of the ranking of the school. Because most times, for a place like in the US, if you're actually admitted to a top ranked school, it's actually increase your chance of getting your visa approved. But then another thing is you still want a quality school. So you can see the ranking of the schools. So you can pick based on it. But one thing in the US is that school ranking is different from course ranking. So most times I'll tell you to prioritize course ranking over school ranking. So for this now, for instance, now Princeton is the top school in the US at the moment based on our rank. So Princeton is the top school ranked in the US. But now when I'm actually checking for petroleum engineering, which is what I want to focus on, the rank actually changed. So University of Texas Austin is actually ranked as #1 in petroleum. This is actually in the US as well as worldwide. So this means that if I want to study petroleum, I'll actually prioritize University of Texas as Austin over Princeton University because of the department ranking. I would advise you to focus on department ranking. The next thing now is, okay, since I want to go to Texas Austin, so I want to go to Texas Austin. So most times it's once you identify that school you want to search, you go to the school website. On the school website, most times, majority of these details, like if you'll be writing graduate school tests, what kind of funding did they have? So if there is no funding allocated to this program, most times it will be stated clear there on the site. Okay. So this is the petroleum engineering website. You can see their programs, they offer bachelor's, master's, and all. Then, in terms of academics, you can see this. In terms of financial support, so if you want to know about funding and all, you can click on the financial support part. So you can see they have scholarships, graduate funding, tuition waivers, and all. So you can always go through each of them and get more detail. Then, in terms of research, now you can now know. Okay. I think this is for engineering as a whole. Let me go for petroleum. So that's for engineering as a whole. So now on the website now you can actually see it boldly clear, tuition and waiver. So with this you can get an idea. For like this school, for Texas Austin, they didn't put much detail here, but they told you to contact the graduate coordinator. So send the person a mail. Then another thing is you can actually apply for application fee waiver by also sending mail to these graduate coordinators. So they can always direct you if there is any application fee waiver available for them. So you make your applications without paying anything. Then in terms of your degree requirements, you can check that. That's for degree requirement has to do with graduating and all. Then for application requirement, how to apply. For this now, they'll tell you there is a mandatory, you have to pay application fee, $90, GRA score, TOEFL or IELTS. They told you any of them. So you can choose to go for any of them. But if you notice other of your school choose TOEFL, just go for TOEFL as you need for both. But if all of them choose IELTS, you have more IELTS on your list, go for IELTS. Then so the moment you get these details, you can go to your sheets and start filling these details here. So that then another thing, you can always create a space for the link. So like me, what I did is there's a URL link. So each of these sheets is actually linked to the URL link of those sites so that I can always go there to preview. Then when it comes to research areas, you can always go. So like now, finding research, finding professors. So you can always go to the departments to see the all relevant research areas. From each of the research, you can identify faculties. So in the US, when the word faculties is used, they don't mean building or a faculty like in Nigeria. They actually are referring to a professor. So these are the different faculties now for this particular research. You can go through them, read their profile, contact them. One tip that actually helped me when it comes to contacting professors, try to mail them in a way that they receive this mail during working hours at 8 o'clock their time, 8 a.m. their time. This is actually a big key because you get significantly more response. Before adopting these keys, my response rate was not up to 10%. But after adopting this skill, I was actually getting a response rate more than 95. Like if I send like 10, I'm expecting at least 9 response.
Hi, Emmanuel. Sorry.
So that's all for me. So I guess my time has elapsed. But I will send the resources to Leke.
All right. So, Emmanuel, please, will you like to share your slide with us? I don't know.
Yes, I will share the slide as well with you.
Okay. Thank you very much. So I can put that on our website.
Okay, so I don't know if there is any question.
Okay. So, just 1 or 2 questions. Please just drop your question on the chat box, or you can raise your hand either way. Okay, Emmanuel Izinabo and Jibril Okayode. That's all, please. So please unmute yourself and talk. Jibril, are you there?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, please.
Can you hear
Yes,
me?
I can.
Yeah, we can hear you, please.
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah,
Thank
please
you
just
very much
don't greet
for
us.
the
Please, sorry.
opportunity. A big thank you to the JCS crew
Please
now, and a big thank you to all right, no problem.
Jibril, please
The
don't
question I
tell us,
want to ask
please.
is you said we should send the code email such that I'm already asking the question.
Okay.
You said we should send code emails such that it will land in the professor's email really when they resume their in school. So around what time in Nigeria? Around what Nigerian time would that be?
Okay, so for that, when it comes to that timing, you should
Hello?
target 8 a.m. So can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, go ahead.
Jibril, are you here?
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what I'm trying to say is that target it. Okay, I said target 8 a.m. their time, not Nigeria time. So that changes because sometimes they have daylight savings and all. So sometimes it might be 5 hours difference, sometimes it might be 6 hours difference. It's your responsibility to know that. So it's not like you have to be up because sometimes maybe that time might be night or afternoon when you are busy. So one trick I normally do, which I'll show you, on that compose, when you want to click on send on Gmail, you can choose to click send or you can choose to click schedule. Let me put. You can choose to put schedule. So when you put schedule, you can pick the time. So it's just for you to go to Google and find 8 a.m. their time and pick the time, pick the day. So you can even send multiple email. Maybe on Saturday you can. So for those working, you can send all your emails on Saturday against Monday. So you can pick the dates, fix the time that you know Nigerian time, but it is actually equivalent to their time in any location, whether in the US, UK, Europe, 8 a.m. their time or 9. Because most times that's when they are on their laptop checking email for the day. So your email can be on top when they are reading. So I don't know if this is clear.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Emmanuel
perfect.
Izinabo,
Thank you very
please.
much.
All right. Yeah. Emmanuel, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Emmanuel Izinabo wants to ask a question. Okay, I think that's gone. Ajayi Happiness, please. Emmanuel, please.
All right.
Be fast, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. So thank you very much for that wonderful session. So my question is, do you have any tips for our listener on how to craft a very good code email, like a very good email that will draw the attention of those professors? Like it could be the subject, it could be the content of the email. Do you have any tips for them?
Okay, so my tips it's if you've written your if you are I don't know, so the thing is most of these tips I'll be giving it to you. We call out these are for the US. So in the US, so because Europe application most times they prefer an application that is humble, but in the US they prefer an application that appears proud. So if you have anything that can show an accomplishment, state it. And it should most likely be related to what you are reaching out to the professor. So let me say your first paragraph should be about yourself. Probably if you have a good GPA, put it there. The percentage of your class you graduated as, put it there. If you've written your graduate school exams and your scores are high and you know that, put it there. Then probably you can then do an highlight of your work. Then the next thing is you can now put a relationship. Maybe if you have done some research and stuff, you can highlight your research briefly in the next paragraph. Then the next part is how you met the professor. You can speak about the professor. Maybe you read the research that drew you to the professor and you like to know more. Then you can also ask things like if the professor can help you with more requirements. So you like if the professor can reach out with more of their research opportunities so that you can know more of what they do. And if they will be open to discuss with you for you joining their group. So I will most likely send Leke a template which would help, or that's like the structure. So just try to put yourself out there strong, then attach your CV, your transcript, even your tests, graduate school test if possible, alongside, so that they can preview it and know that, okay, yes, this is the ideal candidate for me.
All right, thank you very much, Emmanuel. Thank you very much. Emmanuel is in our board. Please just ask your question right away, please. Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I wanted to ask, what is the best time strategically to email a professor? Is it during the application process, or maybe someone can start emailing like what time we have the check more during the application process or early enough?
Okay,
Thank you.
get. Okay, in terms of how soon can you mail the professor?
Yes, in having an effective response.
Okay, so if you would be planning to apply for, let me say fall, if you're planning to apply for fall, let me say fall next year, I might say 3 months before the deadline to the program, you can start mailing them. But then one thing I know, one tip I can actually give you is that funding decision does not come in similar way like application admission cycle. So if you already have all your documents prepared, like at the moment you have your graduate school exam done, you have all your documents ready, I'll advise you to start sending them mail. Because sometimes some professors are already, because like for example in Canada, some professors just secured some fundings in civil engineering and they are already requesting, they are looking for enthusiastic students. So you can have your interview now in preparation for admission for next cycle. Maybe they might push you to spring. That's January resumption. So once your documents are ready, you can already start sending mail. If not, wait till 3 months before the deadline to the program and start sending mail. And prepare towards getting those things you need to attach to the mail, like your graduate school essay and all, and maybe even your transcript.
All right, thank you very much, Emmanuel. Thank you very much, Emmanuel, for the question. Very grateful. Thank you very much for the time. I appreciate you. So at this point, we're going to move to the next session. So sorry, we're far behind time. Adefisoye Ayomide is going to be our speaker at this point. I'm not sure, is he here? Yeah, okay, so he's here. I'd like you to present your slide. He's going to talk on statement of purpose and personal statements, which Emmanuel already mentioned that is the most key part in your application. Thank you very much. He's a PhD student in the US at the moment. I hope he's not so cold. Okay, yeah, you're enjoying spring at the moment. So, I mean, you have the floor. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. So, as you said, I will be talking about the statement of purpose, which I think is also an important aspect of application. So let me just share my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
Good. Yes, you can see your screen.
Okay.
I don't know, can someone else to unmute and talk about it? You can see it.
Yes, we can see the screen.
Yeah, we can.
Yes, we
Yes, you can
see
see
it.
the screen. Can go ahead.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so yeah, so I'll be talking about how to write a compelling statement of purpose, and I'll also answer your questions or like concerns about personal statements, statements of purpose, or whatever essay that is required for your admission. So just as the previous speaker said, the admission committee is going to review the admission or every applicant's documents in an holistic way. So they're going to look at the GPA, they're going to look at standardized exams if there's any, and they're going to look at the letters of recommendation, send out interview if there is any, and then they're going to look at your statement of purpose. So I'll be talking about the statement of purpose here, and I also want to highlight why it is important and what makes it different from all the rest of the documents that you've submitted. Okay, so the first thing is, why is statement of purpose important? So if you go back to the previous slide, the GPA, you see that this is from your school. Yeah, like your transcripts, you have your grades. That is objective, not from you. They started out this exam, they got the result from maybe ETS, and letters of recommendation is from your professor. So they actually want to hear from you personally. They want to have a feel of who you are, putting aside all the documents you've submitted, like your transcripts and recommendation letters and whatnot. So they want to actually hear from you. So I think writing a statement of purpose is an avenue for you to get the admission committee to know you. So you give them a chance to actually hear directly from you. You tell them in your own words why you think you're a perfect fit for the program you're applying to. What sets you apart from the other candidates? You know, let's say you have 10 applicants apply to a PhD or a master's in a course. It's possible that 5 out of those applicants have the same grades. I mean, it's possible, or they have the same test scores, or like similar things. But one thing that is unique for every applicant is the statement of purpose, because it tells you your journey or your story, and you'll be able to motivate why you want to apply for that program, which is unique. And each admission committees are looking forward to that in every student that is applying. So you want to give them an opportunity to understand your academic background and interests. Why do you want to apply for this program? What will it do for you? Why are you even doing it in this school? Right? They are very concerned about that. Why do you choose this school? Why this program? Because that is the only way you can show them that you'll be able to finish this program, and they are particular about that. And also, one other thing is, in grad school, there is a lot of writing involved. Like you write paper, you write reports, you have it. So that is also a good way that you can show that, okay, you can write, you have a good writing skill, right? So with that being said, let me just talk about a few of the myths that I think most people think about the statement of purpose, just to ensure that people have the right notion about the statement of purpose. One thing is, the statement of purpose is not the CV. So I've seen a lot of people just like say in a statement of purpose, I just see qualifications, I see past experiences. There is no link, there is no breadth of life, as I say in that CV. So there is a CV and there is a statement of purpose. There are two different things. Statement of purpose is not something you just want to use to list your achievements. It's not what you want to use to list your qualifications. Oh, I worked in this, then after working in this, I worked in that, and then I went to an internship in this, or I have certificates in this. No, it's much more than that. You want to tell it like, you want to link everything together, not just list them. CV is just for showing your achievement or qualifications. SOP is more like building them, connecting them, and I will say more about that in a moment. So another thing is, some people think if you're being emotional when you're writing, that it's going to influence the reviewer's decision. Like maybe saying something like, oh, I come from a poor background where there is no water, there's no food, so blah, blah, blah. Like you're trying to give them, they're trying to put emotions into them so that they can consider you. I don't think that works. That is one of the things I think even put off, right? So do not lay too much emphasis on your on unfortunate incidents that have happened to you, or lay emphasis on poor background or anything like that. It's not good. I don't think it's going to help. And yeah, that's just from experience what I think, right? And also the trying to put too much of big grammars in writing just to impress the reviewers. That is, in my opinion, not good, right? So if your statement of purpose is not comprehensive enough, then what is the point? So you don't want to make your reviewer start using dictionary or whatever to decipher what is it you've written in your statement of purpose. It should be clear, concise, and it should be easy to be able to follow through and understand what you're trying to pass across. Right. So I'm sure there are other mates, but these three, I think, are most of the ones that I've seen that I just want to address. Right. So moving on to the central theme of the statement of purpose. Right. So there is one thing that I will talk about later on. But right now, let's just go with using statement of purpose for everything I'm going to say. Even though admission committees, schools might ask for statement of purpose, personal statements, motivation letter, diversity, letter of diversity, or whatever. Those things are different, but they're similar in some sort. So I'm going to explain, to the best of my knowledge, the differences, right? But just bear with me as I use statement of purpose, because that is the most common thing that schools ask for in applications. So talking about the central theme, although schools might give out prompts, I've seen schools that maybe in their websites, when they're asking you to submit a statement of purpose, then they tell you what they want to see. Like, can you describe your specific interests, whatever professors you like to work with and whatnot. But in my opinion, I think in whatever statement that you're writing, even if the schools ask you to follow a prompt, which I think most of their prompts will have all these things involved, I outlined a few of the central things I think every statement of purpose should have, right? So one of them is the reasons for your interest in attending a specific program at a particular institution. So I am trying to bold what that I think is important here. So statement of purpose is not something you can write vaguely. It's not something you can write in one day, right? Like, it has to be specific to the program. You cannot submit the same statement of purpose for maybe, okay, I am studying physics now. I can't submit the same statement of purpose for a physics program and maybe a geophysics program, even though they are similar, but it's different. It has to be specific. The admission committees, I think they are looking for this specificity in your statement of purpose, right? You want to be as specific as you can, just so you are hitting the nail on the head that, okay, this person truly knows what he's talking about, and this person truly knows why he's coming to our school. I think those are very important in statement of purpose, right? And then you want to be able to link your past experiences, maybe research, academic, whatever, and you want to be able to link it to what you learned from them and how they motivated you to apply for that program. So I would say it is not enough just to talk about your research experience or your academic experience. You have to bring out reason from them. Okay, you can't just say, okay, after my undergraduate, I went to blah, blah, blah lab to work as a laboratory engineer. I'm just making this example up. And then you just stop there. No, you have to be able to say, okay, what did you learn from this? What are the things you do? What did you learn from that? And how has that motivated you to apply for graduate school? You want to bring life into whatever it is you are doing and then connect it to why you're applying to that. I think they would really appreciate that, because, okay, things admission committees, in my opinion, things they are worried about before admitting any students is that they don't want students that just go into the program and then drop out. So that is a major lesson, because when they give you admission, they're going to fund you for, like, pay money for school fees, stipends, and all of that. So if you just drop out at some point, then that's loss for them. They have to look for other students, and all the investment they made on you is just like gone. So one thing they are trying to do to prevent that is to be sure, to the best of their knowledge, that this person that we're admitting is not going to drop out. This person looks like someone that can finish this program. And how can you tell them that? You have to demonstrate. Don't just say, oh, okay, I am very passionate about blah, 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 blah. Since I was born, I wanted to be a professor, but that is not enough for them. They want to see that, okay, this person has demonstrated that he can finish this program. This person has the right motivation to do this program and finish it. Statement of purpose is one of the best way you can show that. You talk about your past experiences, your past maybe research, academic, and you link it to what you learned from them and how they motivated you to apply for graduate schools. And you want to be very specific enough, right? And again, this is just reiterating that statement of purpose must be tailored to the program and institution. Can everyone still hear me? Let me just know if.
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, so again, you want to make sure it is tailored to the program and institution. Don't be vague. Okay, so then let me talk about the structure. Again, I'll go back to the fact that some schools can already give you a structure. But in case the school didn't give you a structure or template for what they want in a statement of purpose, I think you can follow this little structure that I made here. And at the end of the lecture, I also put a link to a Google Drive that contains samples of statements of purposes from people that have actually got into graduate school. So I think they are pretty good. So with that being said, this is a structure that I think pretty universal, unless in some rare cases or in some other instances. So mostly you want to start with a problem statement. Like usually you want to start with something that is catchy anyways. Like that's like the rule of writing. You don't want to lose your reader. You want to make sure the reader keeps reading. So that's why it's really good to start with something that is catchy, that engages the audience. And I think a problem statement, if well worded, can do things. So you start with, if let's say you're applying for a program in let me just keep using physics because I'm doing physics. In physics, and you already identify a key problem which you want to tackle, you can start with that, right? And then you try to link it to your interests. Why you even started a career in a field, like for example, why did I even start to do physics? And then why did I just stop? Why did I want to continue at the graduate level? So you want to bring all those things together. And then you talk about your previous works, just as I explained earlier, and bring life into it. Your previous work and matching experiences, what you learned from them. Oh, I am hearing myself.
I think you need to unmute one of the other gadgets.
Adewumi. Mute Adewumi.
So sorry, please. Let's hold on. I think he's trying to figure out that. Join us briefly.
Ayo, unmute yourself. We can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, I think everything is good now. Sorry about that. So, yeah, where was I? So, yeah, so you want to talk about what the program will do for you and how it can help solve the problem statement that you talked about earlier on, right? And then you want to link it to why you wanted to study in the school. That has to be specific as well. Why you want to study in the school, and I think I should have added that maybe if you have a professor you want to work with, you can say that at this point, like talk about the research you're interested in and talk about whichever professor you want to work with. That shows that you really know what you want. I mean, but with that being said, you don't necessarily have to work with the professor that you listed in your SOP. That like, I think some people are scared because of that, oh, if I list this professor in my SOP, so does that mean I have to work with him, or does that mean I have to even email, like does that mean I have to be the student of this professor? Like, must I have emailed this professor and he agreed to be my supervisor before I put his name in the SOP? Not always, but of course you have to verify with the graduate coordinator, as our previous speaker said earlier regarding that. So you want to talk about why you chose the school, be specific. Don't just say, oh, I chose this school because it has facilities, like things that every school has. They are going to be pissed about that, I think. I don't know, I'm just saying. But you want to be specific about why like most things you can do. You can go to the website and look for information about it. You can go to the department's website and look for things that the school, like the department actually does that makes sense, that set them apart, right? I mean, you applied to the school, so there must be a reason why you chose the school out of thousands of schools in the US. So you just want to tell them that. And then this is maybe you can chip in depending on the word count, or if if you have a concern, or if you have things that you want to resolve. For example, if you have a low GPA, but now you have a GRE, a good GRE score, like you have some gap in your CV, you can talk about it like briefly here. Like you can say things about that. You can, but you don't want to dwell too much on that, anyways. So you can do that. And also, I think there's one thing that I missed here. If okay, so let's say you have a gap in your CV. Okay, maybe if I remember, I can't remember, but I know there's something I should talk about here. So, and then you can talk about your plans after graduation, right? There are many templates out there for CV, but this is just for SOP, but this is just, I think this is one structure that I think you can work with if you are trying to draft a statement of purpose. So then I'll just go on to give some general tips that I think are useful. So I already said this earlier on, that you can use the guidelines on the school website. I think most schools say one or two things about statement of purpose, or whatever thing they want to see in an applicant's essay, right? And then this is another tip: be concise and specific. So you don't want to dwell too much on things that are not important, right? And also you don't want to be vague. I said here that you should avoid words like many. Okay, I use many statistical tools while doing my industrial training. That is, you haven't said anything. You should say what the tools you use, how it influences you, what you learn from it, things like that. So you want to show specificity in whatever you are saying, and that is going to demonstrate that you know what you're talking about. You didn't just take it somewhere. You are not just vague, right? You are being specific, right? And another thing is this: I think most people are guilty of this. Even I think I am also guilty of this. That we postpone writing a statement of purpose, like when it's close to when we want to apply. I think it is important to start early, because the statement of purpose is something you keep refining, proofreading, and adjusting. Like you write it, maybe one day you write it, like then you go back, you edit, you have to keep going back, sharing it with people and seeking feedback. I think that's pretty important, right? Since this is one of the most important documents you are submitting in your application, I think it is very important that it is at the best form it can be, right? So you have to start early to be able to make it to be at the best form. You start early, you keep proofreading, you keep editing, you keep adjusting, you do some research. I understand that maybe some people that want to apply for graduate school don't necessarily really know exactly what they want to do in terms of research. And now I'm saying that you should be specific. So I understand that. So that's why you have to do some research on your own, at least to have some knowledge about what you want to do, so that you can be specific as much as you can, right? So that's where research comes in. You do your own research, you draft your SOP, you come back, you do research, you go back and forth, and you try to internalize it, you connect everything together. Okay, why am I really doing this? Why am I? That is what they want. That is what I think they want, since I'm not part of the admission committee. But I think most people that have used this, they have gone on to grad school, and I think the statement of purpose is part of what influences that, in my opinion. So that is another tip that I think everyone should hold on to: starting early, writing the statement early, right? Okay, yeah. So this is me just trying to the best of my ability to explain the difference between statement of purpose and personal statement, because I think some schools they will ask you to submit statement of purpose and ask you to submit personal statement, and then you get confused.
Yeah,
That,
Cornell.
what is going on? Aren't they the same thing? Like, right? So they are similar, right? But they are not the same. And I think the name, I kind of gave it away when I looked up the differences between them, because I have to look it up too again. I forgot. So personal statement is pretty personal. So you are telling your story, your own personal, right, about why you want to do grad school in this program. So you want to tell your personal story about what influences you to even start whatever career you have. Let's say you want to go into a PhD in physics now. Why did you even start it? You want to say that story. You want to make the admission committee know you on a personal level. So personal statements can be formal, can be informal, can be in between because it is personal. So you're telling your story. So I wrote here that it's connect your career goals to education and to accomplishments and to fitness in the program. So it has to be a personal thing, right? But the statement of purpose is a pretty objective way of doing this. You are not trying to dwell too much on your story. Statement of purpose. This is just like an objective way of telling the admission committee that okay, you're a perfect fit for this program. So in SOP, in statement of purpose, you put more emphasis on discussing areas of interest, like your credentials, qualification, but like I said, not like listing your CV. You have to still bring life into it. And you want to be able to demonstrate your fitness to the program objectively without telling too much of story, right? So that's one. And then I put this in a tabular form that shows you some different basis of distinction between the statement of purpose and the personal statement. If you look closely, you see they are pretty similar as well, but different. So the difference is subtle, right? So for the focus and purpose, the statement of purpose focuses on the academic and professional objective. Just as I said earlier, so yeah, just citing reasons that you are drawn to a particular program and how it fits into your desires, right? But this is more biographical. Personal statement is more biographical, self-reflecting. You are giving details on your life experiences and why they influence you to want to apply for the program you're applying for. You want to talk about your goals, your principles. This is just more like on a personal level, and this is more objective, right? And then the type of content are pretty similar, but the approach is different. So you want to talk about your motivation, goals, and experiences in a statement of purpose. And here you want to talk about personal motivation. So there's motivation, there's personal motivation, inspiration, goals, achievement, and whatnot. So just like I said, this can be formal, informal, and length of document. So I think also there are, I don't know if that is on the Google Drive, but there are templates for personal statement and there are templates for statement of purposes. So just so if you are confused, you can look at the two and you'll be able to pick out the differences between them, right? So I hope that to an extent clears up some confusion of statement of purpose and personal statements. And of course, at the end of this, I'll be taking questions just in case there are things that I left out. So let's talk about more tips. So I know most people are going to disagree with me here, but I will strongly advise that you avoid using AI for generating your statement of purpose or personal statement. And the reason is obvious, right? Just like I said earlier. I don't think an AI is going to tell you your own story, like a personal story, which is what the people are going to review your application wants. So AI is just going to take in whatever you give it to it, like your CV, and then it's just work around it and pronounce something. I don't think that will tell your story. And even I I think people should be curious about thinking about what story they even want to say about themselves. Like you should be able to tell your own story because that's what makes you distinct, right? So avoid using AI. I mean, you can use AI for maybe sentence structure or like grammar or something like that, but I don't think anyone should use AI to generate SOP from scratch. Just put it in CV. So CV in SOP out, that's not going to reach the level of specificity these people want to see in an SOP. And obviously there are AIs there that can know that AI wrote something. So why do that? So the admission committees, I think they are gradually starting to use them. I saw an article regarding AIs in SOP, and I think they are gradually using AI to detect if AI wrote something, right? And then, like I said, there are resources that you can use. So this is a, let me see. So this is a link to, can people see the Google Drive? Oh, okay. It's not showing. Yeah, so this is a link to statement of purpose samples, like samples from previous, like from different people that are currently in grad school right now. So you can take a look and look at the structure and make it as a when you're writing yours. But please don't copy and paste. I mean, everyone's story is different anyway. So I don't think, but I think it will be helpful in terms of structure. Again, proofread, share with your friends, share with people, like let them, because if you are reading it alone, then you won't really see if there is an issue with what you have written. So if you share with someone, they can be able to read again with a different perspective. So you want to make sure you proofread by yourself and proofread by others. You share with people that can help proofread your SOP, right? Again, start early. That's just I keep emphasizing on that, but I think it's important. Start writing the statement early. And yeah, these are some of the places I got the things I'm presenting right now. And yeah, so are there any questions?
Hello, Mr. Emide.
Yeah.
Yeah, my question is on the low CGPA, but I graduate school test. What is
Okay.
your stand on that? What are the schools you suggest, and I mean, and what can be done? Can personal statement correct that? Because recently I got a decision stating that due to my low CGPA, they couldn't give me admission, but I had high score in my GRE. So, what's your stand on that, sir?
Yeah, so just like I said, I think towards the end of your statement, or like yeah, you can talk about why you had a low GPA. Like maybe, I mean, you can say something about why your GPA doesn't define who you are as a researcher, right? You try to talk more on your strengths, right? So maybe you have a IGRE score. You can talk about that. That your quantitative score, blah blah blah, demonstrates your your reasoning, blah blah blah. So you can talk about things that actually are strong in your SOP, just and give a reason why there's a why you have a low GPA in your statement of purpose. So you can try to balance it in your statement of purpose. There should be a maybe paragraph or a section that talks about why you have a low GPA and why that doesn't define you as a researcher or as a graduate student, and what you have done to make sure uh you correct that, right? So I think that would be helpful.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Mr. Manuel. Mr. Yeah.
So are there other questions?
Hello, sir. Hello, Mr. Ayomide.
Oh,
Okay, my question is with the structure when you were talking about the SOP, because one problem I've always been having is the SOP and the personal statements, and
okay.
I really want to do better in it. So you were talking about the structure of an SOP. You talked about first the problem statement. How do you go about writing the problem statement before you now go to the next thing, like talking about why you have decided to choose the course and things that relate to that?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. So I'm saying you should start with the problem statements. just so you can put in a level of you want to catch the attention of the admission committee. So you can start with a problem that you think is like general or something, like a problem that, for example, let me just give an example in my field, right? So I'm doing a research in high energy physics, and I think one of the most recent problems right now is people are trying to understand the concept of standard model, which cannot explain everything that we see like in the forces of nature. So I brought that as one of my problem statements, right? That I want to come for this PhD degree to gain the skills that will allow me to understand these processes precisely, and then try to bring in a new perspective to solving a problem. Maybe you're doing a research in, maybe you're in economics. There must be something like that is not widely known, which your research can. So of course, that's why you're doing whatever program you want to do. So you can talk about that and now link it to why you want to do grad school. Because grad school is going to give you the knowledge or the required skills, which you can use now to attack those problems, right? So you talk about problem, right? You talk about problem in the beginning. You talk about what the grad school will do to help you solve the problem, right? So problem statement, you give the statement of the problem. Maybe the widespread of blah 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 as being a major cause of blah 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 disaster. And I'm just giving as an example, and then you link it to maybe why you started a career in a field. So that has made me, you say that has made me blah 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 evolved into the field of economics just to understand more deeply some things, blah blah blah. And then you talk about the skills and the learnings that you're going to learn in your graduate school and how they are going to give you the skills so you'll be able to solve that problem, right? So that's like a circle around that I think works mostly to grab the attentions of the readers. So if you look into the templates that I share in the Google Drive links, you'll be able to see specific examples of using those templates. And I think that will shed more light on it.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. So Akosile Oyeyemi. Are there any other questions? There is Abu Abdubasit Adisa.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Thank you so much for the presentation.
Yeah.
I want to ask if, as an undergraduate in final year now, in the call of application, they request the results, and it's yet to be given to us as per we haven't finished our exam. So please, how could we go about that?
Okay, so the request for your transcript or your official results?
Yes, final year transcripts.
Yeah, so I think most schools give you the opportunity to send transcripts even when you're not done. So you can still request for that and send to the school, and you let them know that you are not done yet, that you're still in your program. So I think that's the best way to go about it. Even if you're in 300 level or whatever level you are, people can request for their transcripts up to that stage that they are. So you can tell them you're still in your program or you're not done, and then you can send in your transcript up to the point where it is.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So
All right, I think that's all. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you. You really explained pretty much all the differences between the SOP and the personal statements. Yeah, for us not to have so much questions on that, it shows that almost everybody understands what you are already explaining. So at this point, the next thing we'll be looking into is code emailing. Yes, it's a very pivotal part. So I'll be bringing on Olariwaju Adekunle. He's a graduate student at Pretoria, that's in South Africa, and he's a don when it comes to code emailing. So please, immediate host, you can start your presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for the opportunity. And can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
we
I can.
Hello.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right. So today I'll be taking us through code emailing. I'm coming. I want to share my screen so that what's happening. Okay. Sorry, I'm coming. Give me a few minutes. All right. Can you see my screen? Hello, everyone.
Yes, I can.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I can see your screen.
Yeah. Sorry. So how
So
to
sorry,
cook.
please. You have 40 minutes to demystify
All right.
everything. Yeah,
No problem. No
thank you.
problem. It's simple. So how to cook a novel called email. You know, as we all know, cold email is an unsolicited mail you send to an employer or a potential supervisor in our own case. You know, like those emails that you send, and I could remember Emmanuel, the first speaker or teacher, was telling us about messaging a professor and all, that it gives you an edge. Yes, which is true. So how do we do this? How do we go about this? You know, it's hard, but it's also simple. I call it simple but complex issues. So, and I've sent a few code emails, and I've gotten some responses too, which are good. So I would like to take us through how these things can be done, and I hope you get one or two things from here. So drafting a code email, the first thing you need to do is to be polite. I don't know, were you guys on Twitter recently when one guy, I've forgotten it, I think Paul something, was telling you that the way we write our email are not nice? Anybody there? Did you see all those
Yeah,
things?
I'm with you.
Yeah. So now, you know, when you are drafting a code email, just be polite. Just don't send a generic mail, like you just say dear sir. You know, you can say dear sir and you are messaging like 50 people and just say dear sir. And another thing is that when I started code emailing, I made a terrible mistake. You know what I did? I added, like, you know, when you send a conference email, like you send email to like a lot of people all together. So I messaged, like, I think I attached maybe 10 people from the same department, you know. I don't know, so I attached 10 people. Then I just say dear sir, Oma, and all those things. So no, and most of the times those people will just tell you they don't have space, they don't have space. Well, actually they do, but the way you approach them is that you are not making them first. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So, and also another thing we do is we say, dear professor. Professor what? It's also generic. You can just say, dear professor this, dear professor this. Professor can be male or female. But the moment you make it individual, you attach the first and last name of the professor just to be safe on safer side, because some schools, they put first name first, some put last name first. So it is now, when you guys are now canvassing, that's when you know the one to use over time. So you just put the first name and last name. So maybe the name is Victor Lopez, like one of my what's it called, potential supervisor for last year. So Victor, and say my name is Victor, dear Professor Victor Lopez, and then you introduce yourself. You know, you introduce yourself. You know, like You tell him about you. Oh, what my name is this, my name is that. You hold a B Greek Tech in animal production and health and all those things. So the school you went to, you talk about your GPA, you know, like you are introducing yourself, who you are now, because now he needs to know you. You understand? So now, and also you tell him, okay, you are applying to a prospective student in graduate program and all. And also, then you tell them that you are writing to notify them. You need to tell them that, yes, this is the reason you are writing to them. You know, so you have to, and it has to be in your opening paragraph so that they will know that, yes, this person means business. So you are writing to notify them of the deep interest to become the graduate student for fall, this, and in their research lab. So also, in 2 to 3 paragraphs, you need to like sell yourself. You need to sell yourself. You need to tell us the experience you have. Like the former speaker before I came up, he was telling us that now you have to tell us about the experience you have gained. It's not your CV, because you'll be attaching your CV now. You'll be attaching your CV also in this email. Now you have to tell us what you have gained over time. The experience is what we are now talking about. It's not that, okay, I worked as a research assistant and this, and this. You must tell us what and what you did. Can you see where I conducted research and summarized findings, monitor this, monitor that, like what you've done over time. So if you add industrial training that is relevant to the field you're
So sorry,
applying.
have you started sharing your screen? You've not put your
Yes.
presentation.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I thought you were just explaining, to be honest. Thank you,
Oh,
Bagwe, for noting that. Thank you.
okay. Thank you. I'm coming. Let me see. Presenters view. No. I'm sorry. I'm coming. Let me find a way around it. Yeah. Okay. Entire screen. I'm coming now. I'm trying to work on it. Okay, this particular one. Can you see it now? Hello.
Oh
Can
yeah,
you see
it's
it
up.
now?
It's up.
Okay. So let me just use this particular one now. So
Can
as
you
I
quickly
said,
just, sorry, please, can you
yeah,
quickly just do a fast recap so we can see
yeah,
other
sure.
slides?
Yeah,
You can
sure, I
start
will
from
do that.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I will do that. So I said how to for everyone, I'm sorry about that.
Can you put your slide on like play mode? You can just click F5 on your keyboard.
Okay. All right. Now, can you see this now?
Yes.
Okay. So as I said earlier, I said I was speaking on how to cook a novel code email. And also, what is code email? As I defined earlier, I said it is an unsolicited mail you send to an employer or a potential supervisor in our own case. Yeah. And I was telling us how to draft a code email. So there are procedures that you need to follow in drafting a code email. And one of them is, the first thing is you have to be polite. Like you tell them, not I, Professor this. You know, someone was telling us recently that there's a way they greet in America. There's a way, no, in Nigeria, the way we were taught. And yes, they respond. So just do you, just be you. You understand? But make sure that you are being polite. Can you see my screen now? Can you see where I am now? Hello?
I can see cook a novel
Okay.
code as well.
You can see what?
How to cook a novel code mail.
Oh man. What does that mean? Like I'm already on page on what's it called? Oh, how am I having these issues today? Window, the entire screen. I'm coming. Chrome tab. I'm not sharing the Chrome tab now. I want to share the window. Can you see drafting code email now? Hello?
Not yet.
Nothing
Oh
is
my.
working, no, Baba.
All
Ah,
we can see is your media folder.
okay. What's happening? Okay. Think I'll find a way around it now. Why am I having this issue today? Yeah, it's present now. Windows. This share. Okay, can you see this now? Can you see this now?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
but it's not on full
Yes, yes,
display.
yes.
Yeah, but that's
What
okay.
about now?
Still not yet.
Ah,
Let's carry on. Let's carry on like this. Please.
okay. Okay.
So sorry. I think what you can do is looking at your slide. I can see comments down. Then you just move to I think the third one or the fourth one. Just click them. Any of those. One that is looking like a
Okay.
TV screen. Just scroll down.
Oh,
Other comments are down where you can
wait,
zoom in, zoom out. That place you have like a
okay.
TV screen.
Oh, I'm coming. Stop sharing first. My laptop is giving me some issues right now.
No, you don't have to stop sharing. Please, can you just continue the way it is, please?
Okay.
We are running out of time, please. I will not say
Yeah.
anything else.
So you said on the third, yeah, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So
Share your screen. You're not sharing your screen.
I'm not sharing screen again. Oh my
No, no, you
goodness.
close it yourself.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Present now. Yeah. My Windows. And this. And this. Okay. Okay. Are you here with me now?
Yeah, we are you. Oh, just let's continue this way, please.
Okay. All right. So as I said, you know you have to introduce yourself and all those things. So this I will drop this note on the group chat. So I'm very sorry for the inconveniences that I'm causing right now. So and also you have to sell yourself. Can you see my screen now?
I can see your screen. Just
Okay.
continue.
So you sell yourself in 2 to 3 paragraphs. You have to sell yourself. You talk about the modules of interest, your industrial training, your undergraduate and master's research, and also maybe if you've been working on the field, like now, for example, uh, I I worked at Nigerian Institute of Medical Research, the vector control lab. So like most of the time they'll be like, wow, you have work experience. You know, all these things count, and these people just want to see you. They want to know if you can actually do what they are doing, if you are the fit for their lab, you know. So, and most of the time, just tell them, okay, I've done this, I've done that, and the experience you gained while doing all those things, what you did. Like, okay, when I was working at NIMA, we used to go on field trips. So I told them that I carried out epidemiological surveys, also collected adult and larval mosquitoes, raised mosquitoes in the lab, and all those things. So those are the things that you can also add to your email. But just make sure that you limit it to 2 to 3 paragraphs so that it will not be too wordy or too bulky for the reader. And also, you need to conclude by stating what you want in their lab. You know, you have to like tell them, okay, I noticed that you are working on this, and I would like to work on this. Also, and what you would like, the experience you would like to gain, and also why you want to work with them. You know, and most of the time, we used to say, oh, if you read their article, okay, you can say, okay, I read your article, and this made me this, and that. You understand? You have to tell them, but most of the time, I don't have the time to be reading different people's article. One. Number two reason I don't read article is because the person may be working on mosquito research before, and now this same person now wants to change to tick-borne disease. that next year, and you don't know, and you are not telling him that okay, what he has written on mosquito research is what opened you up to this and that. But it is also good to read article. I'm not disputing that fact. You understand? So it is also good because you will be able to confidently tell them that yes, I've read your article and I found this, I found that. You can also find a research gap in the article, which will actually be good for you, you know. So for me, I just tell them that I peruse the department's website and discover that the research program is of particular interest to me and this, that. And most of the time it works. So, and now I would like to show us some emails that I've sent and how I coin my own mails. So I believe that will be of help to us. Let me just change what I'm sharing now. So now,
you keep closing your tab. I don't know. How do you do that?
I just want to show something actually.
Okay,
I want to show, yeah. So now, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Hello.
Not our full
Yeah.
screen thing.
Okay. So you can see this one, right? You can see my code email, right?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay. So as you can
It's
see,
too
as I said
tiny. We
earlier,
can't read it. It's too tiny. If the way you can just zoom it somehow.
Okay. Let me find.
Zoom it.
Zoom.
You can also zoom in yourself.
Just spread your mouse like opposite direction. What's your mouse moving opposite direction? Yeah, edit it down. No, it's too much. Yeah, you can
Like this,
for
right?
a bit.
Better.
Yeah, then you can be moving. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So the first thing I do, as I said earlier, you have to be polite. So I say, oh, good morning, Professor Victor. His own name is long, so that's why I just use Victor. His name is Victor Del Almo Kiniko. So, and the name is jointed, so I just have to use Victor. And then you greet him and all those things. Then you introduce yourself. Oh, I'm Olaniwaju Adekunle, this, Pretoria, South Africa, and I'm writing to express my interest as a graduate student in your lab by 2024. So now you tell them, as I said earlier, you tell them about your experience, and also you mentioned those courses, those relevant modules that you did during your undergraduate. So then I told him about my education experience and research background. So now I was like, okay, my education research experience to date has given me strong foundation. You have to sell yourself, as I said. So you tell them, okay, this is what I learned. I said my bachelor's degree provided me with solid foundation in medical entomology, parasitology, epidemiology, and public health. These are relevant courses to what I want to do in his lab. You understand? So these are relevant courses. So the medical entomology is the study of insects that causes maybe vector of diseases and all those things. So that causes disease generally. And parasitology is the study of parasites. Epidemiology is the study of the spread of disease, and public health is public health, what we are facing in Africa and world at large. So these things will make them know that okay, you have the relevant course experience. So now I spoke about my bachelor's thesis, though it is not in line with what I want to do in his lab, but then I removed it. So when Leo was trying to help me review, then he told me that it doesn't matter. That shows that you have a good writing skill and all those things. That's why you just have to put it there so that they will also know that you've done a research and the research you did was a nice one. So then I have to add it and say, okay, I examined this and that. I spoke about my undergraduate research and also the results I got. And then I moved on and told him about what I did, my work experience at the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research. So after that, I moved on and I spoke about my master's thesis. This is what I did, this one, that, and also I spoke about my IT skill, which is like out programming and all. Then I told him that I perused the department and found that his research program. Am I too fast?
A little
Hello?
bit. You're a little bit fast.
Okay.
No, you are not.
Okay. So then let me just go slowly. Yeah, I think I still have time. So then I told him that I believe, you will tell him that conducting your research under supervision will do this and that. Then I enclosed. And from there, then you also have to tell him, you also have to add that they appreciate, ask for the opportunity to have, what's it called with them? A meeting, which is paramount. Everything you are doing, just make sure you have that meeting. But the moment you have that meeting with them, that will make them know you better. You will also know them better, and you have how do I put it now? You will have more knowledge of who you are speaking to, and also they will know more about you. So this is just one of those mails that I sent. And also make sure that your code email is specific in nature. I'm coming. I want to show us another email. Make sure your code email is specific in nature. So yeah, can you see this particular one? Yeah.
Yes.
So this one also is similar, but the specificity that I'm talking about is this. Now, this particular woman, I've been following her on Twitter for like 3 years now. I've been following her since 2021, late 2021. And all these PIs that used to post on Twitter and all. Then, so I had to tell her that, oh, I'm a big fan of hers on Twitter. And then she was working on a research on Obama malaria in India. So I had to tell her that, okay, I saw what she's doing, and in my opinion, I told her about what the result that they are looking forward to get. You understand? So then I said, which is true actually. So control strategies that will be put in place in different localities. So when you want to send code email, make sure that your code email is specific in nature. If you are sending email to a vector, let me say someone that is working on tick-borne disease, don't go and send the email of you working on mosquito. They are both vectors of disease, but just try and make sure that anything you are talking about, even with your experience in mosquito, you are telling them the reason you want to work on tick-borne disease. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So that's how you do your things. You don't just send a generic email to all of them. You have different emails for different people. That is why you have to when the first speaker was telling us about your research interest, searching for and getting what was it called? Research interest, also the supervisor, how to know what they are doing. You go to faculty, you click on the faculty, you see the research interest, what that person is really working on. So, and most of the time, the title of my email is always what the person is working on. Most of the time, like now, Modoc is working on mosquito research. So I just told her, oh, because she's doing a lot of work on mosquito, that's why I just call it mosquito research. She's working on mosquito control. She's working on what do they call it, microbiome of mosquito, and also the malaria that is caused. So that's why I just said in general mosquito research. So any update she has on mosquito research, so that she will add me to whatever research that is going on in a lab. For some people, I just put interest in vector control research. If I notice, because most labs in US, most of them, they work on both mosquito and tick, but just a few works on mosquito. So when I notice that you are working in both field, I just come and tell you that I'm interested in vector control research, because I know that either ways, I will just fit into either of your research what is it called? I'll just fit into either of your research program. So just make sure that anything you are sending to anyone, make sure you put in your all. And also, before you send any email to anybody, make sure that you reach out to the admins on the group or someone to review for you. You might just be making some mistake, and maybe you, by error, you are not seeing it. But when somebody outside of your field should look at it, or somebody on the group chat, or anybody or your friends should just look at, they will just identify that error immediately. And I will say once again that thanks to FAP for doing all those for me that year. So that is just how to write a novel code email. That is just how to write a novel code email. It is so easy but complex. When you look at it, you see, oh, this is so easy to write. I can always put up one or two things, but you must make sure that everything you are writing, everything you are doing, they are also coherent. Now, if you are talking about, and also follow the year. Now you talk about your undergraduate. Now from undergraduate, the year. Now you now jump to what you are doing recently. And also you now want to tell us about what you have done before you are doing that. You know that you are just jumping about. Let the timeline follow. Like now, I spoke about my undergraduate. Normally, before I used to put my industrial training, but because of the how do I put it now? I want to limit the word, so I removed my undergraduate internship from there. So before I used to speak about my internship because I learned a lot in the University of Ibadan, where I worked in 6 different labs and I gained a lot of experiences. But now, because now I'm doing masters and I also want that one to be there. And also, I'm also working on, I've also worked at NIMA, which I also want to be there. So now I have to remove some things just so as to make sure that at least anybody reading this will like enjoy what they are reading and it will not be too wordy. You understand? So make sure that the time factor, put it in place. Now you speak about your undergraduate. While speaking about your undergraduate, if you want to add your internship, just add your internship before your thesis. You know that you would have done IT before you say you want to do project. It's not that you will now say, okay, my thesis is this. Then you now come again and say, I did IT. No, you have to make sure that it is timely and the person reading it will enjoy what they are reading and say, okay, in this also year, okay, this person got this, then you understand. So I believe that's just all we need to know about how to write code email. So I believe that's just all we need to know. So I don't know if you have any question, because for code email it is question and answer period. That is the, what should I call it now, the best. So I don't know if we have any question for me. Okay, Zainab.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good evening, sir. Yeah, thanks
All
for
right.
this session.
Okay,
My
you're welcome.
question is regarding code mailing. Is there a specific time we are meant to send it? Like, for example, is it that the school will open a specific time frame? Okay, this is the time you should do this, or at any convenient time. For someone like me, I'm a fresh graduate, so can I start the code mailing now, or I wait for the school to give me directive, or maybe the supervisor or anybody? Thank you, sir.
Okay, yeah, you're welcome. Actually, for me, I started my code emailing this time last year. You know, this time last year, I've been code mailing professors. This time last year, I started mailing professors, and most of them, if they don't have funding yet, they will tell you that, okay, get back this also time. So that when you get back that time, they would have known their funding, what was it called, their funding decision. They will tell you, okay, if we'll be able to take you or not. But the best time is start now. The best time to start is now. So start code mailing now, start sending those emails now. So, and I believe that we'll hear good news. Also, timing, I forgot to add this, timing. When you want to send your code email, as the first speaker said, he said that you should make sure that you schedule your email to land 8 a.m. US time. So that's what I do. And also another thing I do is that I don't spam emails out on Thursdays and Fridays, because I believe that everybody's brain is resting by then. So I only send my own code mails Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The moment I miss Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's already like I'll just wait till next Monday before sending the next emails, because I believe that Thursday, Friday, most professors, my professor in UP, Thursday, Friday, they're always overwhelmed. They're gonna tell you that they just want the weekend to come so they can rest. So that's why I only send my own emails Monday to Wednesday. So, and also the time, I think the time difference between Nigeria and US now is maybe 6 hours or 7 hours. You can always read, and also the time zones differ in US also. So make sure you also look into that before you send the email. Check what is the time in Arizona right now, what is the time in so place right now, so that you will know. And most of the time okay, and also most of the time I schedule my mail just for from weekend. I schedule everything I want to send for the week, for the following week. Okay, so I think Happiness wants to say something. No,
Yeah, I
on your
think
mic.
what she's trying to ask
Oh,
is it when you've applied to the school before you start cold emailing professors, or it is before you start applying to that school? Because I think
No,
that is one thing I would like to know. Too.
okay. It's still the same thing that I've said that I will still say again. I said that start emailing now, but most of the time it is before you apply to the school. And also, even after application, you can still send code emails. Even after I submitted application and we were expecting funding, what was it called? I still sent code email this year to a professor in New Mexico State University, and the green light was green. He was telling me, okay, then we had a meeting. That was when he told me about the funding and all those things. Like, by the end of the day, I could not enter the school because he told me that I applied to the wrong program, that I should have applied to this also program instead, that they had more funding here than here, that I should have mailed him before I applied. So that's why I will advise that you code mail before applying to the school. He was telling me that I applied to a multidisciplinary program, which I thought we have more funding. And the professor told me that they only have 4 slots in the program. Then he told me that I should have applied to biology instead, because biology has more funds, more opportunity than the program. So, and I don't know, I just had to like walk away. So most of the time I will advise that you send it before you apply to the school, so that you will know where to apply to. And also you even need to ask that should I add your name on the what is it called, on the SOP and all, because the guy, when I had a meeting with him after submitting application, one of my friends also submitted an application to, I think, Morgan State University. Then after submitting, then he still continued sending code emails. Then one of those professors told him that he was not asking him to go and add a name on his SOP. My guy had to like message the grad code and say, okay, please, I would like to change my SOP, or this and that, so that you won't fall into all those kind of errors. Just make sure that you send the code email before applying. I hope I answered your question, Tolulope.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much.
All right. So I think Happiness wants to say something.
yeah, thank you very much. Thank you so much once again, Larry. Thank you, the admins. Tolulope, the response to your question is number one, you need to pay attention to what your program requires from you, applicant. Okay. Every program has their own websites on each school, website, like under the general website, each program has their own website. So there are requirements that you need to follow. All right. There are schools that will tell you not to send emails to professors before you apply. And there are schools that will tell you not to submit an application until you secure a supervisor that's ready to accept you into their program. So now, you need to know what the school you're applying to wants from you. Okay. But the advice is this. When the department, when the program says the priority deadline to our program is maybe April 1st, okay? If they have the money to apply, please apply. Okay. When you see a program website that says our priority deadline is so dates, apply first. Okay. Provided the application fee is not too much for you, because it's risky. It's risky when you submit an application without securing PI. So maybe if the application fee is not too much, or maybe you are financially buoyant, You can submit your application and send code emails after, provided the school mentioned priority deadline, or they said you don't need to send emails. Maybe you don't need to secure supervisor before you apply to their program. So there are schools like that. And reason being that you have to pass through all their labs before you finally secure a supervisor you want to work with. So different schools with different requirements. And the general answer to this thing is send an inquiry email. Send an inquiry email. All these things you're saying here is just based on what we know, based on what Olariwaju knew, based on the different experiences that we've gathered, okay? But the best response, okay, the best response to whatever questions that you have in your mind is to send an email to the program coordinator. They are the best person to give response to whatever question that you have in mind. They are the best person that will tell you that you need to secure a supervisor or not. They are the best person to tell you that you need to send email or not. So please learn to make an inquiry. It's free. It's free to send an inquiry. It's free. Like, just have a content for that email inquiry. We have it on our Google Drive. Send out the inquiry. Do I need to secure supervisor or not? Yes or no? Yes. If they say yes, you need to secure supervisor. If they say no, apply. You can now be sending out emails afterwards. One thing I used to say is that whatever that won't cost you money should be done almost every day. Sending out emails won't cost you money, just time, which is money anyways. So to follow the department requirements. Read out what they want from you. If they want you to send an email, send emails. If they want you to submit an application directly, submit your applications. So there's no really this is how to do it. Okay, there's no really that. In graduate school applications, there's no really this is how you do it. Different schools with different requirements. In my school, you don't need to secure supervisor before you submit your application. A couple of students were admitted spring 2024. They were auto assigned an advisors. So it works differently in different schools. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did. Thank you very much. At least now I know that my focus will be more on understanding the university requirements first. And if I see the one that don't tell me what I
Not
want.
university program, okay?
I
Program.
mean the program, yeah. That's what I meant to say.
Because in the same school, engineering department might want you to secure supervisor, while animal science doesn't want you to secure supervisor. So it varies from different programs.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Narrows down my perspective.
Tolulokwe, thank you very much. Abdul Basit Adisa, please can you ask a question? About a few more minutes.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Who
Good
is
evening.
presenting?
For the wonderful session.
Abdul Basit Adisa. Who is presenting?
Yes. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
Yeah, please.
So good evening. Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. I want to ask that if after we sent the code email and we didn't get response from the professors, so what do you advise that we do next? Should we remind them, or we should just after we wait for the response and we do not get response from them, should we remind them, or we should just look away and proceed to another one? Thank you. That's my question.
Yeah, I think Happiness wants to answer that.
I'm sorry for taking up your session. When it comes to code email, I did it for a long time. So the in and out of code emails is in my head. The document that is in our drive, I prepared it. So I know the in and out of code emails. One thing I used to tell prospective graduate students is don't expect reply. Okay. When you send out an email, when you get a response, okay, oh, wow, you responded, fine. But when you are expecting response, you get heartbroken that, oh, I've sent out 5 emails today, no response. And you went back to relax for 10 days, doing nothing because you didn't get a response. I have a roommate while I was in Nigeria. The reason why I didn't want to come to here is because of not getting a response. We'll be like, they are too proud. How will I be sending you emails and you will respond? They are too proud, this and that. But I already programmed my mind that if you respond, fine. If you don't respond, fine. So when you send out emails, don't really put mind in it that, okay, someone wants to respond to my emails. Unless we get that broken all through the journey of sending out emails. I lost count the number of emails I sent out, but I got few responses. Few responses. So when you send out emails and you don't get response, you send out a couple of reminders, maybe after 3 days, you send another reminder. And after another 3 days, you send out reminders. And after maybe 2 weeks, you didn't get any response. Just move on. What I do is, after sending out emails to all the schools that have my program, and I didn't get a response, I will now revisit back those emails again, start afresh, like new email. I forget about the one I sent earlier, start afresh. Do you get what I mean? So
Yeah.
you don't stop. You don't stop. When you send when you've sent like 3 to 4 reminders, let the person rest. Maybe after a month or thereabout, send the fresh emails. I've once disturbed the professor that he responded to my mail and said, I cannot help you. Do you know what that means? When the professor tells you, I cannot help you, like you frustrated you frustrated the professor's life already. So he said, I cannot help you. So I've
But
gotten
sorry,
that kind of response like that on LinkedIn as well. When the professor told me, don't send me an email again. So it's crazy. It's crazy. But it's not a bad thing, okay? It's not a bad thing. I'm looking forward to meet those professors in our next conference, maybe June. I want to meet them and greet them and tell them I won't send you an email. Sometimes people like that. So I've met a couple of them in West of Kentucky. We've laughed, discussed gist. So it's not, you are not doing a bad thing for sending us emails, or they understand that you are looking for a position, you know. So when you send out emails and don't get a response, move on. Move on.
Oh,
Send few reminders, don't get a response, move on, and come back to the person again when you are done with others. So that's what I do.
thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
I need to ask, is cold emailing the only pathway or guarantor of funding?
No,
Because
no, it's not.
cold emailing,
It's not. It's not. Yeah, it's not.
what other ways to secure funding if we are not going to the
Another
cold
way to
emailing?
secure funding is submitting prior to the priority deadline. Do you know what priority deadline means?
No, I don't.
Okay, let me quickly brief you about that. When the program says their priority deadline is January 1st, 2025, it means any applicant that submits the application before that January 1st will be considered for any available funding. Okay? When you submitted the application before the priority deadline, okay, let me do it this way. There are 2 deadlines for most programs: priority deadline and general deadline. So if priority deadline is January 1st and general deadline is maybe May 5th, okay, any applicant that submits the application before January 1st will be considered for any funding that is available. But for those that submit the application maybe within the space of January to May, those are the ones that maybe there's a professor that has its own funding on its own. So those are the ones that, okay, if there's still enough space to take most of the whole, they can now come in. But when you submit the application prior to priority deadline, trust me, you can get funding, especially chemistry students. They just submit, funding next time. That's how it is for most chemistry students. Just make sure you submit your application before priority deadline. That's why I said there are 2 ways. If you know you don't have money to be paying application fees like this one, submit. Focus on your code emailing. While I was in Nigeria, God helped me a little bit. So I was submitting some applications, but they didn't come out with funding. So if you know you don't have money, focus on your code emailing 100%. So that when you secure a supervisor, That's more money that you have somewhere. You can use it to submit your application. But if God blessed you and you have much money somewhere, look out for schools that has priority deadlines. Shoot, submit. Submit like 5.
Money dey, you know go dey here now.
Gideon, please
Okay,
mute
there
yourself.
is
Gideon, okay.
Sub-
Sorry, Happiness, please can you unmute yourself? I have to unmute everybody. Sorry.
I thought I was speaking to remote mic. So when you
Sorry.
have some money somewhere, look out for school that has priority deadlines. Submit like 3 to 5. One will come. And the 5 might be rejections. That's just one thing about graduate school. So you need to get prepared for rejection as well. So code email is not the only way to get funding, okay? It's not the only way, but it's the surest way. It's the surest way. So that's all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my organizer for the Happiness. I appreciate you. Zainab, around do you still have a question?
I still have another question.
Okay, please make it
Why
snappy.
talking about why talking about research gap? How do we chip it in our code mailing? Do we talk about it in form of suggestion, or like I don't get the manner of approach regarding that research gap? Please, can you suggest?
Research gap or research interest? What is your question?
Research gap. I think you talked about the supervisor not doing something, maybe a methodology is missing out, and you have a way of solving the problem. For example, the supervisor used the MGIS, and you can actually incorporate machine learning to that same project. So how do you chip it in for the prof in a way that it will be catchy? Just a suggestion, please.
Okay, Olariwaju, are you there? Yeah.
Olariwaju,
Please, can
your
you?
position.
I am here.
Okay,
I
all right,
am
please
here.
answer your question. Answer your question, please.
Okay. What did she say again?
You were not here. She said,
Zainab.
how can you like tend to the research gap thing you were talking about? How can you put it into your code email? How can she put that in? How can she fix it in? You know, you're talking about maybe a particular method you can use GIS. Yeah, is it the professor using GIS and she feels you can use machine learning and other things, like how can they marry that together? Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So for me, it's around that last place where you are talking about where your research can align, like that place where you say, okay, I've read this. I peruse the department, that's what I use. So you will say, I read your article on this, and I noticed that you used this, and I believe that you understand, like the one I sent to that professor in Cornell that I showed you guys, that okay, I believe that what they are doing in India, this is what they will get. This is the result that they are looking forward to get. You understand? Zainab.
I get it.
Yeah. So that is the place you will, so that is the place you will come in to tell them that yes, I believe that if we use machine learning, or if we use this also thing, we'll be able to get a better result. So that's what I think. But yes, and I believe that maybe Happiness we have one or two to help us add to it also.
I'm so sorry, we won't be able to take any more suggestion at this point. Zainab, if you still need more details, I would advise you join our community. I'll love our next speaker to come on board. Oluwapelumi Adejimo is going to be resuming as Missouri University of Science and Technology, Department of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering. I think it's the best generating students for mechanical engineering at 4-year AKT. Yeah, so you have the floor, Pelumi. Thank you.
Hi.
Okay.
Yeah. Good evening from my side, and I'm sorry for my inconsistency in the chat. You get. So, I'll be talking about securing financial aids and how to earn application fee waivers. So, and for ease, I have created a PowerPoint, and I don't know, I am I audible enough?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. You're audible.
Okay. So I don't know. Can you see my screen, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So I'm sorry for asking all those questions, but I just want us to be on the same page. So graduate school financial aids. By default, I understand that the word financial aid is not actually a big English. It's just the context that matters. So in terms of graduate school context, by default, money is to be paid to any degree, right? So given a financial aid context, that means we want access to the degree, but at a subsidized amount, and if possible, not pay a dime. So basically, that's what financial aid is all about. You are meant to pay $100,000, but you don't have to pay that money. The money that comes in that gap or pay for you in that regard is what you call financial aid. And we have different types. It can take the form of assistantship, fellowship, scholarships, employer tuition assistance, organizational grants, FAFSA. So let me say from bottom to top, those three does not really much apply to us, given our own situation. Employer tuition assistance, only few people are in a position such that their workplace pay for their tuition fees. And I'm not in that kind of category. Right for FAFSA is much more applicable to citizens. And at the same time, number five goes in line with number four, they're almost the same thing. But due to our specificity, we'll be concentrating more on assistantship, fellowship, and scholarship, most especially the first two. So, as stated here, the most common means in order of hierarchy for graduate school fund is assistantship, fellowship, and scholarship. So, in terms of assistantship, schools may award living stipends and tuition waivers to full-time students in exchange for work, and it can take the form of teaching assistants, graduate assistants, research assistants. So what that means is that, oh, you want your fees to be paid, and probably you need some money for your upkeep. There's no problem in that. I'm going to satisfy your terms and conditions as far as you do what I say you should do for me. So in terms of teaching assistants, you get the opportunity to assist a certain faculty member. It can be in terms of taking undergraduate classes, marking scripts, and any possible tasks that relate to teaching assistants.
Sorry, Polymir, you can't see your screen.
You can't see my screen.
Not at all.
We can. I think another person is projecting.
Who is Oluwakemi Toyin? Please.
Someone is projecting our screen, that's why.
Who's this person?
Oluwakemi Toyin. Can someone get rid of that?
Okay. Yeah, I think you can do that now.
Okay.
Please try and share your screen now, please.
Yeah, I'm on it now. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yeah. So in terms of teaching assistantship, you just help with a faculty member to take one or two courses as the case may be. In terms of graduate assistantship, we help with admin tasks. We all know how admin works like, especially with that, like considering our university education, the NASU guys. So you take the form of doing one or two administrative tasks, and in return, your school fees is going to be totally waived. And if it's not totally waived, maybe like 90 or 80, 45%, depending on whatever they bring to you. And the same with research assistantship. Most of the time, the professors get to secure funding to carry out one or two projects. It can be maybe NSF, fund from NSF. NSF is a big association over there that sponsors research work, and it can take different forms. So in form of research assistantship, a professor you get interest to work with a professor, or you get assigned a professor in the course of your why you applied, and the professor will take the due to that position you secured, you have your tuition fee waived, and you get a monthly stipend such that cater for your living expenses and the likes. And basically, how to secure an assistantship position in no particular order, this is how to secure it. You get. And sometimes out of the 5 points I mentioned, like 2 or 3 can go hand in hand. Or maybe like it's not like I follow the particular preference you get. So in this first one now, send email to prospective faculty members. How do you send email to prospective faculty members? You that you're a mechanical engineering student and you have interest in additive manufacturing, taking my research area into consideration now. It can be different for somebody from English language or mathematics. You check through the university website. Lecturers over there, they are being addressed as faculties. Look for the faculty section within your department. Then you scale it down. Have access to see the ongoing research, possibly if it might be there, it might not be there. Research interest, their access to their publications, and you can even search for their name. You can search for their name on Google Scholar. So you have insight into 1 or 2 research works that they are doing. And of course, thank God, we're told how to send a code email. Draft your code email, you send query. Luckily, you might get a response. Luckily, you might not get a response. It's just like 50-50, but as much as possible, do your best. Number 2, inquire from graduate coordinator for clarity. At times, when you check your department and the admission whatsoever, you might need some insights in the sense that is it necessary to under take for instance Missouri Science and Tech. When I sent an email earlier, I was told I have to secure a prof. Without securing a prof and just apply with the aim of somebody might find interesting, you are deceiving yourself most likely. You might get the admission, but you might never get the assistantship position. Then number 3, fill form for assistantship roles after submitting an application. Like I said, or as even been said earlier, what works for school A might not work for school B. So there are some cases that after you've submitted your application, you have to fill a form that shows your interest to be considered for GA. Why some? In the course of applying, there's a box they can tick to show that I want to be considered for TA or RE, and boom, they can get it. I know a living testimony of that. Then number 4, check the department website for any form of specific guide or instruction. What do I mean? Some schools are very stubborn, like I said, you have to secure a supervisor. If you don't secure a supervisor, there's no funding for you. And as stated in number 5, in rare cases, you need not to send an email to any faculty internship, but rather submit a compelling application that addresses your teaching ability or research ability as you dare to be duly considered for. So, number 5 also is possible. But however, there is no harm in sending code email. If you send and it brings good results, fine. I've read an instance of, I don't know if it was on the JCS group chat or so, that it is the university's policy for them not to respond to emails from students. However, this man has been noticing this guy's email, and when it was time for consideration for faculty whatsoever, like to admit guys, he was given preference because he has created an image. You get, there is no harm in shooting your shot. It is not that it's going to be the possible result, and no at zero cost. So you have to nothing to send damage. So this is images, like I grabbed some images. In this case now, this is a particular university that is requesting that you have to fill in a form to apply. And this is another form this is another one that is this is another school. This one is University of Nevada, Reno. It is saying that research assistantship awarded by NGPR faculty. Students should contact faculty members with research programs that interest them to learn about available assistance as early as possible. So in this kind of school now, of paramount importance that you secure a PI before you apply, like so that you don't just waste your application fee or whatever. The excitement to apply to schools should not make us not to do the right thing. Yes, people should take note of that. There is no pride in applying to 200 schools when you are doing something that is wrong. And in terms of fellowship, schools, private organizations, and government entities offer fellowships based on field of study and academic performance in exchange for research activities of anything. Depending on the fellowship amount, some form of fellowship completely exempt the students from any form of assistantship. Thus, get to have more time for your academics. So the context of fellowship is that think of it like maybe free money, like just like a bonus money. And in some cases, your fellowship money is not to cater for your fees and your living expenses for, let me say, year one. Take for instance, people get it. And in that kind of situation, you have to rely on scholarship, sorry, assistantship. You can just focus on your studies and you do fine. And in some cases, the fellowship money is not always sufficient. It can be 5K, it can be 8K. And of course, you know that has not even covered your tuition fee at all. So in that kind of scenario, it's just like an MC, an added funding for you to just enjoy yourself with it. So in terms of how to secure fellowship, in most cases, you have to submit a strong application that's what's been considered for a fellowship. But there is a comma if such is available in your department. You get so some fellowships may be available in your department. However, we don't need a separate application for it. All you just have to do is just submit your application, and if you want a fellowship, they give to you. And most of the time, take notes. People that get to win fellowship most times are just that their application is so impressive. Their GRE score can be like 239. And when I mean fellowship that can cover for you don't need to do any assistance. So for you to be in a position to be a contender for fellowship, you yourself, your application should be something that is very strong and impossible to resist. At the same time, you can be possibly nominated for a fellowship by your PI. This is what happened to me in my own case number 2. The fellowship offer I got was in like free will of my PI. I had due to no power rights. He just submitted an application to the committee and I was so this is also a case and I have no power. However, they put some let me say some constraints. Right? You need one day GRE score to be able to get this position. Even though my GRE score is not as much as 330, however, it was able to pave for me to secure the position. It's not yet. Then number 3, you can categorically ask to apply for it as a fellowship requirement. So there are some fellowship that once you apply for your school admission whatsoever, you have to also go to their portal and apply for it. So this note is very important. You get what works for you does not necessarily have to work for you. Always ensure you check your department website for the available fellowships. If you understand how best to position yourself for it, you understand the gist. So that is very important. So that you don't pour water inside baskets. So this is just some insight of some fellowships. This particular fellowship is for Missouri. So if you are applying to the school and you probably got admitted, you have to go to their portal section to apply for this. However, you also have to secure a professor because he will fill a nomination form for you. So imagine you apply to Missouri without a PI. That means you stand no chance of even applying for this fellowship. Get the gist now. So understand application requirements. This Nebraska information about fellowships. That's Nebraska Lincoln. If you have interest in it, you can go and see. And if you probably need 1 or 2 clarification, always send an email. You get many of us. I'm also a victim. Sometimes in a day, you can spend like this on WhatsApp, on social media. Yes, I'm not against it, totally against it, but imagine you are spending 1% of the time you spend on having fun just to improve your life every day. In the long run, that is going to be a long. Oh, sorry, I'm not done. The scholarship. Not much emphasis on that. Scholarship in a certain way operates just like fellowship. And sometimes the scholarship might not even be worth it. Like you get cost of attendance is 85,000, you get scholarship of 15,000 only. That's very serious. So if it's possible you get scholarship also. If you get it, fine. If you don't get it, fine. Then in most cases, when it comes to scholarship, your duty is just to apply, like study the requirements. You get read up on it. If you want to know, maybe there's your department, just send an email and how to apply. And there are some, like I said, just have to submit your application. If you want any scholarship, they'll give it to you. Then application fee waivers. As a matter of fact, Anybody that says he or she applied to 10 schools and paid money for every 10 schools, I'm not saying it's not happening. Those people are rich people. Because with what the country is saying now, applying to 5 schools alone is enough to start a business, the money you spend on it. So as much as possible, always try your best to be on the lookout for application fee waivers. You get. I understand we know the context of application fee. It's an amount you pay when you are trying to submit your application, and the claim is for administrative costs. So, to the best, always try as much as possible to secure waivers. As for me, I in that regard, I tried my best a lot. And how to secure application fee waivers? Check the department website for specific instructions on how to secure waiver, or if application fee is waived for the given application cycle. Take for instance, Clemson University last year, even though they got overwhelmed by the applications, which I'm very sure. It was stated on their website that application fee is waived. Yes, and I remember sometime last year, Cincinnati, they put out specific instructions on how to secure waiver. They were like, apply for so and so events. However, fill this form, and at the same time, you have to have a minimum GPA of 3.8 over 4.0. The same thing applied to Alabama. Guys that they gave preference to for application fee waivers were guys that had IGPA like first class. So understanding requirements is paramount importance. So in this case now, you probably don't even need to send an email for application fee waiver. Number two, application fee waiver form on the department website. You know what? When you want to apply to schools, as much as possible, familiarize yourself with the website. Can be cumbersome, I understand. I've been here. You can spend like 1 hour on one school website, but try to understand it very well. And even when application is on, as much as possible, be on their website. I remember playing around University of Texas at Austin. I just saw like, these people said I should fill this form to get application fee waiver. Yes, this information I never even see it on maybe all those normal scholarship charts, and I was like, see this, and I applied 4 months to the end of application, like for the application will end, maybe 4 months, 4 days or like a week. That's what they told me that I got the application fee waiver. So this kind of information, if I never played around the websites, I would not have seen it. Then number three is a very common means. People just send an email. Send an email. Here in the phone, sometimes going, these universities they contradict each other. You can be seeing it on the website that application fee can be waived if you send message to this, if you click on this link. But if you go and find the graduate code and send an email, it might state that there's no application fee waiver. I experienced something like that. So always try as much as possible to play around. As you are sending graduate code emails, send program code email. Graduate code look your face, make program code look your face. You get it, it's so funny. Number four, attend open house. I know Purdue do that a lot, and there are many other universities like that. You organize events, CMU, Carnegie Mellon University, that you organize events like 3 or 4 times in a month or in an application cycle. You apply, they waive application fee for you, and you are good to go. Some you have to follow up, like, hello, I applied, please waive application for and to be waived. And in rare cases, please, emphasis on the rare cases. The PI you get to secure can help you waive your application fee or even pay on your behalf. But it is in rare cases, okay? It's not something that is very, very, very. So don't be of the mind that I've secured an application fee and I've secured the PI, automatically my PI can use his influence to waive application fee. And at the same time, something came to my head now. I've forgotten. So I don't know if I remember later. So like I was saying, in rare cases, the PI secured can help to ensure that application fee is waived for a certain student. So, if you're in such a tight situation, you can reach out to him. If he does it for you, fine. If he doesn't, there is no reason for you to feel offended. Just try and find the way around it. With faith, there's opportunities to work out. So, see, reading instructions. This is for Purdue when they release their graduate showcase black wrapper. These are the things you needed to do to secure the application fee. So if you are somebody that you are not informed, you are not at the top of your game, you would never know when such information is out. So you need to be very proactive as much as possible. You get, you need to be proactive. You need to have sight like the brain to understand, to see what is ahead or what you're anticipating. And this is another example of an application fee that our popular adult. Left to me, this one is long, sharp. I don't know. It's long to me. I don't think mine is as long as this. Yes. Of course, they're interested in to have one or two things to say, but it's not like they are scoring. So, as much as possible, this is nail on the head, and you get. So, that's it. And is also sometimes also, okay, this is just it. This for inform you also some information about securing application fees. So, basically, that's just it about application fees. I'm done. If you have one or two questions for me, please let me know. It's like why I joined the call as an audience.
All right, Chirike Damian, you can go on your question, please. Then followed by Samuel Oluwasegun. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pelumi. I just want you to please talk about this advertised position that usually come up. We always see the advert like a lab is looking for students to study so research area. So I want to know exactly how those positions work. If you could please just shed more light on that. Thank you.
Okay, to be honest, I understand that we say these people are white and we kind of look at them with high esteem. But to be honest, sometimes human beings think the same way. You get. So don't be so crazy about advertised positions in the sense that just do your best and look up. You get. Some advertised positions, I don't know if you are Yoruba, but you are you in the sense that they just do it for people to see like, oh, I'm recruiting. But the funniest thing about life is that what work for you might not work for another person. So one of your friends might just, this guy advertised the position and he applied and boom, he got it. I've read cases like that online and I even have a friend like that. So the thing is that the thing is just that advertised position will actually generate more influx of people to get compared to a position that is never that was not advertised. However, one thing about life is when you have nothing to lose, you get, and let me say, what you have little or nothing to lose, just do your best and look up. Never can tell, like, is is not promised. However, it is expected of you to do your best. That's no orientation about it.
Thank you very much.
Is Emmanuel? Is Emmanuel asking a question?
Yes. Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, I wanted to ask. I know you made mention of attending some schools bringing out events for someone to attend. Then they
Yes.
waive application fee. I don't know if this will work because sometimes, like you say, going to their website, they go and check when events will be coming up. Somehow will be stressful. I don't know if someone subscribing to their the like subscribing to their site with someone's email address can work. Maybe when they have events. I'm just
It
asking.
depends. Some of them, their website is being designed like that. Why some is not like that? The thing is just that once application window opens, you get try to be proactive. You understand? Try
Okay.
to be proactive. Some is going to tell you that you know what, wait till October. We'll have an event. People that apply for that event, the application fee will be waived. You get the gist. So if you are not
Okay.
proactive, you never know that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes, you're welcome. Mr. Samuel, Oluwasegun.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Lokalumi, for the wonderful session. Okay, so along the line, you made mention of some schools giving preferences to students who probably are first class students or particular CGPA. So I'd like to confirm, are there any disadvantage to one to a first school leaver? Because sometimes one thing that actually,
Sorry, I missed a line recently.
yeah, I said you made reference to some schools giving preference to
Yes,
students who are first class student or ICGPA
yes.
related students. So I was going to like, are there any disadvantage to students probably with some particular grade of CGPA? And one other thing I wanted to ask is like, what is like the strength of students who are fresh school leavers? Because one thing that frightens me the most in the competition for graduate school is since many applicants who are probably have masters or PhD and you are just a fresh school leaver and you're just trying to like fit into it, like what is the kind of strength for such kind of person who is a fresh school leaver and probably it's not like a first class student, probably 3 point something above, and is trying to also compete for this same thing that people who have gone far probably has research work or have gone so well in the whole of this process. What can you
In terms
yeah,
of what I said, that's fellowship we're talking about. You get fellowship.
I get
Fellowship should not be your primary objective. Trying to secure an assistantship position is your primary objective. Do you understand?
yes,
Trying to secure an assistantship is what is meant to be your primary objective. Fellowship is just like a secondary form of funding that sometimes it ends up becoming a primary source of funding. The funniest part is that
okay,
some guys that even get fellowships, it can be for like only 2 years, and after that, they have to do assistantship. You understand?
okay,
So those fellowship, if it is a fellowship that they tell you that you can apply, you get apply. If they pick it, when they don't pick it, fine. And at the same time,
okay,
it is the reviewers that will know what they see in somebody that make them look like this guy, he works, this guy, he works
recommend,
fellowship. You get guys
okay,
out of
yes,
2-1 also get fellowship opportunities. You get, but the thing is
okay,
that in trying to secure admission, your focus should be assistantship. In my own case now, it's not like I was looking for assistantship and fellowship or whatsoever. It just happened like a
okay,
side package, and I just move on with life. I hope you
yes, I do.
that's just it.
Okay. Thank you, Anderson.
Is that all on application fee? Okay, all right. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much for me. I really appreciate you. Thank you for your time and big thanks to all our listeners. So, sorry we are fast spent time. We still have one more session. We'll be talking on how to create a resume, yeah, and CV. Unfortunately, my speaker is not available, but I'll be taking that. So I'll just love you to bear with me on my slide. So I'd like to present it right away. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Window. Oh, the fuck? Sorry, please. I'm trying to figure this out. Okay. A minute. Okay, I think I'm there. All right, so can we see my screen? I don't know.
Yes.
Okay, so creating academic CV or resume, that's the topic. So next thing is what's an academic resume? And what's an academic CV or resume? This document tends to speak about your capabilities, your experience, and details about your cumulative progress. I mean, over time from probably when you started your program. So this shows an overview of your lifetime experience. So this is like your documenting in a summarized form. Sorry, I'm a bit fast. I need to be fast because of our time because we have a lot to cover. So these are the major sections that should reflect in your academic CV. The first thing is the contact details. I wrote these things here in a chronological format. So contact details, the educational background, publication, research experience. I put publication before research experience. Why? Because it's to show that it's an academic setting, show that yes, how well can you write? You know, the speaker on SOP, Adifisui mentioned that. Then you can also talk about your work experience, your conferences you've attended, and all of that. So my contact details, this is how your contact details should look like. What should it include? It should include your first name and your last name. So we call it surname here. You should include your email address and your phone number. Your phone number is optional, but you should include your email address. And for your residential address, I mentioned it. This is meant to be optional. I don't know, is it clearer now? Hello?
It's clear.
Okay, thank you. So residential address is optional. Then you need to include a virtual address. When I'm by virtual address, like your LinkedIn profile, probably have a GitHub or ResearchGate address. And what you do is just to highlight it and right click on your mouse, then you hyperlink. When you hyperlink, it's be able to, if someone should click on it, be the PDF file, you'll be able to like send it directly to the, you'll be able to like, once you click it, you go directly to your website. So now talking about your education, that's the next thing that should be on your CV, right? What should be here? You should have your institution name, the location, the duration, or when the degree was completed, what kind of degree was awarded, your class rank. Your class rank should be an optional thing. Why did I say this is very optional? Is because some people maybe they graduate with a low grade and you want to sell yourself short. The people that have high grades who want to maybe put in some humble brag kind of thing there. So that's not bad. Your academic standing, right? So your second class honors, third class. I mean, everything is possible. There's really no discrimination here. You could always get a fully funded offer. Your CGPA, that's also your CGPA is good. You should put your CGPA there. Yeah. Then when I said West IGPA, the reason I said this is optional, it is not a must. Getting IGPA done, you just go to West's website and you do a kind of version of your transcripts, like your transcript details. You get your IGPA done that way. Then you also have what called dissertation. Dissertation, that's the topic of like your thesis. So for an MSc students, you're assumed to be a graduate assistant. So this should be highlighted in your educational background section and your research experience. So this format here is mainly for
Sorry for interrupting you, please. You're not changing your screen. You're from a particular screen.
Is it changing now? I'm coming in a minute.
No, it's not changing. Okay, it has changed.
How about this way?
Yes, it is changing now. Yeah.
Okay, so sorry, please. So you have your program, architecture, BTech, my school, Federal University of Canada, according the date I got my degree, June 2022, my academic standing, CGPA, I just wrote this percentage, it's not a big deal. Then West IGPA, West is World Evaluation Service, and somebody will speak on West tomorrow. But I wrote IGPA, not GPA. This is not West GPA, this is IGPA. The I shows that I did this by myself on the internet. Then my class rank, oftentimes you are finishing with a first class, it's advised you go top 1%, right? Then you might want to put relevant courses that you feel, that you feel courses that shows your stronghold in that particular research interest you are willing to work on. So in dissertation, we have, like I mentioned, is like your undergraduate thesis, your topic. So I didn't have an MSc. This is like under education, you like have 2 columns, right? You talk about the MSc program, maybe till present, maybe you're still not going it or you're done with it, but following the same format, and I mean, you should put it there. So I don't know, is it changing now? Can you see my public? Can you see?
Yes.
Okay, so this is publication. This time I'm talking about publications, right? So why am I putting publication first? I'm putting publications first because it shows that you are really enthusiastic about the academic space. Most professors, when you go to their website, you see a list of their publications. So it's something that as an tried professor, something they can check pretty good. Why? Because professors tend to get tons of emails, nothing less than 100 emails every day. I mean, so they just like a preview of these things. But somebody that can say, oh, publication, okay, this one knows what he or she is doing. So what should be your publications? The author names are yours bolded in. Your own name should be bolded. Look at this now. Caroline MD Jackson Fasasi. This is my name. For example, this is my name, Adewale J.O. And yeah, I have to like bold it. So this is the topic, rice farming, and like APA format. You can see the DOI. Some people will just copy their when I see some people CB, they just put research grade this. Your publication should have a DOI. If it doesn't have a DOI, it should have a web link that can take us to your publication. So put that web link there. You can shorten it. There are ways in which you can shorten like a short address. But ensure you hyperlink it, you edit, like what I'm trying to say is you have to like highlight and hyperlink it. The reason for hyperlinking is so that it's able to like go through straight to the internet. Looking at this now, the next paper I have Mobad 2021. This is a topic exploiting potential of industrial noise. This is at a conference, right? So this shows that this is not a publication. I don't know if you are clear on that. This is not a publication. Why? Because this is not a DOI. This is just a conference on so date. So this is looking like a presentation. This is what? This is a poster presentation. So your publication shouldn't be like this. So a topic like this should be under your conference or poster presentation. Then looking at this, there are some situations whereby not all of your publications have been accepted. But in this case, the abstract like this now, this is a conference, techno-economic assessment, NAPI. Its abstract has been accepted. It does not mean it has been published. When your parents publish it, we have the speaker that will talk on that, so I don't want to do so much on that. Then you also then you as a person, my name is Jagumolu. I should have bold this Jagumolu CD to show that yes, this is me. Yeah, like it should show that. So looking at this now, this is manuscript on that page. Since the abstract has been accepted, they are reviewing my manuscript, maybe sent it back to me for editing. I've done that, I've sent it back to them. So that's manuscript under review. So that's how your publication section should look like. Don't forget, I said you can professional section. So contact. So sorry, please. I'll fix contact details, I'll fix educational background, I'll fix publication. So now, straight to the point is research experience. Graduate school is all about research. So like I said, it's one of the most vital aspects of your CV, which intrigues the selection committee. How does it intrigue them? There are different professors and they have different research interests. So you have a research experience that is aligning with any one of them. You're like, oh, this guy, let me check other things about him. Your CV is like your face. You are not there. So it tends to show your readiness for research, and you always want to do this, you always want to avoid what errors. You should use the word correct verbs. But for me, I noted something that internships in research institutes, yes, can be noted as a research experience. Very, very important. Then the most valuable form of research experience is your undergraduate. Some people say, I'm fresh out of school, I don't have research experience. No, you do. This is this. So you do. You have research experience. Your final year thesis is a research experience. Is a year. So it shows that yes, you can conduct research. You can do things independently. You know how to conduct different literature survey. And summer breaks too. Research works in laboratories can also be highlighted in session. Like for example, maybe during your break or you're working part-time with a professor in one of his lab, maybe you're in the polymer laboratory. You can put this in your CV, and it's important to include what's the duration of your research experience. So take for example now, for me, I have section research experience. I was a research intern at Center for Energy Research and Development, Buffalo University, Ile-Ife, from March to October. So what are the things I did? If you look at the verbs, worked, used, performed, assisted, these are like past tense. It's not something I'm doing at the moment. So you should know the type of tenses you should use. Then for my undergrad thesis, see, undergraduate research assistant, your research assistant, you just need to know how to package yourself and sell yourself well. You don't just put final year student. No, that's weird. A very such assistance. Where did you school? For when to when did you do your projects? Hello. What are the things? Okay, thank you. What are the things you did during your project work that you feel like, oh, they are worthwhile of you selling? Oh, I researched on this, I analyzed this, I performed so simulation, I worked this, I did this, and I did that. So I think I'm clear on that. The next thing is my work experience, right? Some people call this industrial experience. Some people have different kind of work experience. Maybe the way Nigeria is, a lot of people venture into banking sector, and you're a biology student. And it's going to be very, very bad for you to put that. I was a cashier teller at GT Bank in your academic CV, and you're applying for graduate school in biology. You shouldn't include such a thing. So that's why I said this oftentimes should be tailored to your graduate school interests. If not in all cases, but really some skill sets like that transferable from to one another, but you shouldn't limit yourself. And it's important that you should put relevant details by yourself. You should include the use of percentage and numbers for like quantification. Okay, I improved the daily turnover of the company's production process by 20%. Oh no, based on quality assurance, maybe a QA/QC person, you devise the method. All these lean methods and crashing projects and all of that. Oh no, you develop the model, this and that. So as I said, you should include humble brags. For example, production planning engineer at the Nigeria machine tools till present. Look at this now, till present from November 2021. Look at the tests I'm using here. Ensure sustainable production operations. Receive. I'm not working there at the moment. It should be ensured, received, facilitated. So all these things are not rocket science. Are things you can always get ideas on Google. You get ideas from people's profile on LinkedIn. Just if you want to check their bio on LinkedIn, you see a lot of things where you could like get ideas from and write something about yourself. So like a graduate training, chicken rep are inspected and ensured and assisted. Then even as your undergraduate internship, should be part of your work experience, your CS, your part-time holidays. I mean, any work that you feel yes, it should align to like your program. A must that okay, maybe because in mechanical engineering, for example, now you want to become an aerospace engineer, but you had experience in auto, put it there. Still under mechanical engineering, there still is a transferable kind of thing. Then I would like to go back to this research experience thing. Research experience for people most people that are in the first class, they tend to be posted to universities where their NYSC. So if you see on people's profile, you see graduate assistants, you see teaching assistants in the university, and then they put things they did. Oh, he conducted tutorials, they did career research, they worked on with under social professor. Those are things that you can put on their research experience or your working experience. So all these things are things that can say it shows that you are prepared for this program. But even if you are not posted to a university, you're posted to a secondary school, it doesn't still matter. It shows that yes, you can teach, because really most graduate students tend to either be teaching assistants or research assistants, like locally explained earlier. So in this case, now I talked about teaching experience. This should be the next point. Don't forget, you need to arrange your CV chronologically based on those points I listed earlier. I think these were the points, right? Yeah, these are the points. So the teaching experience thing, this is very important because the virtuous traits, it's very, very important traits in graduate students. Like I said, put relevant details like tutorials, maybe take tutorials in your religious place, with your classmates. Tutorials is not just have to be limited to just academic. It could be softwares. It could be anything. It could be just normal trainings, it could be workshop. You can see this SAT tutor, National Institute of Civil Engineers, software tutors. So yeah, but this year you shouldn't limit it just here. You just put a month like duration, or you leave it a year. It's not bad. Subject tutor, presidents for SAT. I'd like to move next to this conferences. Yeah, and inaugural lecture. So here's the problem. Here in Nigeria, not everybody is financially buoyant enough to attend conferences and travel, or even pay for conferences. You see conferences, you pay 35,000, 50,000, and all of that. Case where you don't have conference, attendance, you put inaugural lectures, you can put workshops, you put seminars, you can put poster. Then when you are doing this, if you see what I wrote, I said inaugural lectures are included to help candidates with insufficient contents in their resume. Why they have insufficient contents, you consider it's because they don't probably have money to go for this conference and all of that. Or you should just put you're a delegate, you attended the events, you're a member, you're an attendee. So you state your role. Then so this is how you should get it done. Conferences, workshops, and seminars. There's some conferences like maybe doing a poster presentation, so people could be a rapporteur. I mean, you know what the rapporteur does. You are helping the lead judge in maybe you are checking the time, you're checking time, you're taking notes of points. It's more like a secretary kind of thing. So you name the conference, the year when the conference took place, the title of the conference. So if need be, if there are conferences where you got certificates, good. Upload your certificate on the drive and you'll copy the drive link, address, open the access, and you can put it there so that this is the evidence that yes, you did this. Or you're a delegate at the USA IITA, pardon, that's the delegates with this look at this, and this is a valedictory symposium. It's not like a conference, it's more like an inaugural lecture kind of thing. It's a departmental seminar, you presented all this your presentation you do in school, your thesis, you presented your thesis, you presented your IT because it shows that you have good communication skill. All these things that your CV is trying to show that are you really an all-round personality? What is it about? Different things that you feel that they are minute, but they sum up together to give us something great. So that's that. Yeah. Volunteering. Volunteering is something that should be very good. And section is something that the developed countries love because they prefer legal society. So when it comes to volunteering, it shows that you're having an all-round personality. State your rules in volunteering events. Volunteering events should not just be limited to your academic niche. So you have social events. And like I said, you should beware of political and religious involvement in this section because you know with reviewing your documents and you know what to choose yourself. So this is how you can write your thing. Volunteer activities you can have your community projects. Having your community projects, you say things you did, right? You organize you organize an event for students seeking admission into institutions in your locality. You're enlightening them, you like to make kind of symposium, or you took voluntary classes for students in Yamamata, or this NYC thing is enough. People that have done NYC, it's enough in where you could get ideas, that are sensible. You don't need to lie, you don't need to exaggerate. If you are telling lies, your lies should not be exaggeration. It's something, reasonable. Those in the fisheries and aquaculture departments, you see, you organize the a beach cleanup, why they need to ensure a sustainable environment for aquatic animals. But you could join volunteering bodies, a lot of volunteering bodies with UN. There are a lot of them on LinkedIn. You will always find a lot of volunteering bodies. SP. You don't necessarily need to join volunteering body before you volunteer. Even your fellowship, your church, your mosque, your class, you volunteer. Part of your teaching experience are things you can transfer your volunteer to teach. If the students how to sophomore or freshman students how to use a particular software that gives people problem in your class. So like university project now, or you serve as moderator during the freshman engineering students departmental competition, just organized by this. Just ensure you sell yourself, don't sell yourself less. That's what I can say. There's a lot you can put in the volunteering section. Right. So honors and awards. Looking at honors, awards, the reason why I'm putting in a lot of these things is for you not to have a scanty CV. About times people say, here a lot of people say your CV should have more than 2 pages, your CV should have 3 pages. That's a lie. Write as much as you can, but don't write rubbish. Write tangible things that are really sensible, and that yes, selling yourself well. There's no limitations to the number of your pages. But the point there is the most important things about your CV should be at the top. which is your education, your contact details, your publication research experience. Those are the main things that I really like judge. All these ones are just, add-ons that okay, there's a tie. Okay, what's the difference between this person and this person? Okay, is this person worthy of the investment? Is this person what has done? Is this person all around that person? This bonus on awards, this session is showing that if you are worthy of the scholarship investments and you process what strong what academic progress. It's people on their language, oh, I'm sure to like have a 5.0 this semester. Oh, I had 6 out of 10 this list. That's an award, this list award, because you had over 4.5 GP. Awards are not just that, oh, you were the best footballer in your department, oh, you won guy game for your school, or you got so for academic scholarship, maybe a graduation, just don't leave any achievement behind. Sell yourself to the very best, including awards, like I said. So one thing I said, always arrange chronological order. When I say chronological order, like from the latest, start from the latest to the least, like to the earliest. Yeah. So achievements you got this year should come first. The one that you got last year should come next. That way. So you can't say if you got this in June 2022, next you refer to Society of Metallurgical Engineers, International Award for Top-Notch Project. Award is not limited to just school. Is it volunteering? Is it sports? Is it academic? Most minority students in your hall of residence, you or best executive, editorial service, just sell yourself pretty good. Talk about maybe you got some scholarship or federal government scholarship, MTN, shows that you are worthy of much more investment. You've done it before and you will do it again. So that's just that on the honors and award. Just ensure it. And one thing is very important. You can see I was holding some things. There are some tiny things that looks infinitesimal, but there are a lot. You should know how to arrange your seat properly, know how to justify it, and always submit PDF formats. You shouldn't send them Word documents. So now, skills and interests. This is a very important part. What skills? I'm so sorry, these guys are here fixing I say. Software skills. What software skills do you have? What software skills do you have? Is it Python? Is it SolidWorks? Is it SPSS? Is it MATLAB? Is it PHP? Java, Orion? Please put them there. Technical skills. What machines can you use? What hands-on equipment can you use that you feel they are helpful to your business? Sorry, please, yes. Okay. Gideon, please. Okay, sorry, I have to read that. Oh, sorry. So, what technical skill do you have? What kind of machine skill do you use? Is it drill machine, this machine? There are equipments in your laboratories that you always put up together. I feel that yes, equipments you use during your project work. Now, I want to mention languages you speak. Because the reason why I put languages here is because that applies to the Europe, maybe you could speak Spanish here. You're putting it there as a plus, just that here you can integrate better into their community, into their culture. So this CV format is mainly for the US and the Canadian application. There are CV formats for European applications. That's the past format. But for the purpose of this bootcamp, just is limited to US and Canada distance. So you can talk about your interests and what are you interested in: leadership, medicine, entrepreneurship, business. So many different things. All these things are just things to make your CV fleshy. It's not a must to put them there, but I've seen people tell me, just fresh out of school, I didn't do anything in school, I don't have experience, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. There's a lot you could just put together that really makes sense and sell yourself pretty good. But like I said, I'm saying it again, the most important thing is that should be in your CV. You have a publication, no problem, but you see that research experience. If it's not there, you've not written an academic CV. I'm telling you, if it's not there, you've not written an academic CV. So if you talk about a professional membership, it shows that it belongs to which body do you belong to. Student member, Nigeria Society of Engineers, student member, Nigeria Society of Biomedical Engineers, Society of Petroleum Engineers, NIMET, Education USA, Gary Fellow member and volunteer, National Society of Black Engineers. I think when Emmanuel, the first speaker, spoke, he was talking about he was a member of Black in AI. you know, all this it shows it shows diversity. Yeah. There are some schools that are really big on diversity, or there are some states like that, very big on diversity. Especially states like Colorado, state that's very big on diversity. So you could even get few waivers based on diversity. That you're a member of NSB, and for that reason they should consider you. LGBTQ to diversity. So it's everything works together for good. That's how with all of this, at least your personal membership, it's things that will add up. Then your leadership experience. Yes, very important thing. What leadership experience do you have? From when to when did you serve your people? This is mine. This is mine as academic officer. What did I do? I was this. I organized this. I did this event. I was president. I organized this event. I produced this. I spearheaded this. Those terminologies produced, spearheaded, complicated. There are some terminologies you should just use led. Those things sounds very sharpy. You need to put terms that yes, these things are catchy. So I'm sure you get a lot of this from the material Emmanuel said you sent. We'll be uploading that on our websites. So lastly, your recommended details. Yeah. It's not put leadership as one of the last ones. It's not really relevant, right? Not because it's not relevant. So leadership is a very great skill. It shows that you could control crowd, you could move people. Leadership doesn't have to be a political system. Be a religious leader, maybe you're a course rep, you're a class rep, even your CPS, no matter how small, it's always a leadership position. Even it's just 2-3 people you're coordinating, or you're a team leader of so thing for so event. You need to put those things there. The reason I'm putting leadership somewhat video is because it's just one of those last things that are like tiebreakers, right? So I'm sorry I need to rush this because we are already out of time, and I'm sure we'll still need to complete more questions. And I'll still have the founder of this group to say one or two things before we round it up. So recommender details, that's the last thing. Recommenders. Like I said, it's best to put available on request. Why? Because recommenders might change due to unforeseen circumstances. The bad cases of my recommender did not submit my reference letter, and talk about reference letter tomorrow. Trust me, it's going to be very, very powerful because reference letter is a very, very big part in your application process. So use probably one request. Why? Because recommenders might change. Sometimes you'll be like, oh, this person is not accounted for you, but you already fixed a list. Some of us are very easy to update. So it's important that we do this. So that's going to be like the major overview on the CV thing and how it works. So God's willing, tomorrow we'll be taking on that's going to be our last day for the event. I'm sorry we have to rush a lot, but once again, these are the sections that must reflect on your CV, your contact details, your educational background, your publication research experience, your work experience. After presentations, they can come in together with your conferences or your conferences. Then volunteering experience, your honors awards, skills, interests, and all of this. I'm sorry we have to rush things. Unfortunately, no matter how we try, we can't. Marry up everything. But time is really a very big deal. And thank you for staying with us for almost the past 3 hours. So tomorrow, if you have any friend that is a polytechnic graduate, please, I would love them to join us tomorrow. The Poly Boy is going to be here tomorrow. He's going to talk on how he has a polytechnic graduate gets to graduate. Poly Boy is currently in Georgia, and he's a very great guy. I'm sure of that. So we'll be looking at a letter of recommendation by Familiar. She's resuming for you very soon. Then the GRE, I have a very great guy, Benga Q. The GRE is very good at what he does. Talk about West for those that have low CGPAs. Even those that have high CGPAs can do West. So it's not just limited to anybody. So I think it's time for questions. Deborah, please, I think you can answer a question right now. Thank you. Hello? Hello, are we still here? Please, can somebody speak?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, Deborah Yanulua. Or who else have a question?
All right, so
Is anybody having a question?
the only question I have is
Thank you.
concerning the numbers of pages. What is the required numbers of pages for the resume? I mean, for the CV rather, for the academic CV.
Okay. Okay, so thank you very much, Victor. I mentioned that earlier. Your CV does not have limitations to the number of pages you should have. I repeat again, your CV does not have any. You hear people tell you 2 pages, 3 pages, it's a lie. I mean, why should I sell myself short when I know I have tangible things I can put? But don't say because I said you can do any amount and start writing a lot of jargon. And some people are really bad at their spacing. You could space it and make it look good, but anything beyond 4 pages, I feel is already out of hands because I mean it's not like you're a professor, it's not like you had so many achievements, it's not like you're a master's degree holder. Maybe if you're a master's degree holder, you have a lot of achievements you've done. I mean, you can't tell me you have 10 publications and you want to leave them out because you want to be no, I mean sell yourself. Really, if they are really important things, sell yourself. They are very important things, you don't need to be adding all these skills and interests. Hello, Nuruddin. You shouldn't be adding those skills and interests, you should be adding all of those jargon. It's not like they are jargon, it's just I made it this comprehensive because of people that they feel they don't have enough content to put in their CV. But if you have a whole lot of things you could put in, the main things are, like I said, are things that I started with and ensure it is there. So there is no limitation to your number of pages, but reasonably it should be around like 2, 3 pages, 4 pages is fine. But people that have a lot, I mean, you can go as much as you can, but I don't know. What matters most is you spacing your thing well. I'm open to other questions. I'm not sure if I answered your question, Victor. Did I?
Yeah, you did. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I'm open to other questions, please. Is the Deborah Yadolua, do you have a question? Hello, Deborah Yadolua. Okay. Any other question? Anybody, please? Deborah, we can't hear you. Are you trying to speak? All right, that's fine. That's fine. She's not
Yes,
speaking at the
I
moment.
can
Any other
hear
question?
you.
Okay. Do you have a question? Oputadi. Okay, so at this point, I think I'll just let my predecessor who handed over to me in the handling this event, this program. I thank him for the privilege. I thank every of our members that are present, everybody that joined this event, and I would love you to keep on sharing our flyers, keep on sharing the meeting link for others to join. So tomorrow is going to be power packed. I promise you, we have a lot. And I'm sorry we can't still cover a lot yet. Then I'd love you to join our community. Visit our website www.jcscholar.org. You click on the community link, you'll be able to get through and see. You see a lot of things there. You see our old webinar videos. I mean, you can do this thing yourself. It's not rocket science. And one thing I want you to know is this: nobody's a custodian of scholarship. Nobody, I repeat, no damn body is a custodian of scholarship. There's no webinar you go to. There's no I've made 10,000, I've made 100, I've made $1 million. Nobody's a custodian of scholarship. The scholarship is in the hands of your selection committee. It's in the hands of your creator or whoever you're serving. So that's what matters most to you. So don't be scared, but do the right thing. That's very important. I'd like to wrap it up here. Then. Okay, you have a question on CV. Deborah, please ask your question, please. Deborah Iyanolua, please ask your question. So once I answer a question, I'd love Ajayi Happiness to say one or two things to round up the event.
All right. Thank you very much for this wonderful session. You are the best.
Thank you very much, Malaga. I appreciate you for
Leke is the best. So thank you very much for our speakers, to our listeners. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. Okay. So what I want to say is regarding what the previous speaker said about funding, I just need to correct some things because this meeting is recorded, and we would like to do well not to pass out incomplete information. So when it comes to funding, it's possible to be funded and not get your tuition waived. it's possible. So the previous speaker said your tuition will be waived maybe 80% or 90%. Not in all cases, okay? Not in all cases. You can get your funding and tuition won't be waived. You can get funding and maybe 50% will be paid. And you can get funding that all of your expenses will be paid. So funding varies, depends on the kind of source of the fund, maybe where this grant is coming from or maybe wherever the money is coming from. So I need to correct that. And also, regarding fellowship and assistantship, it varies from schools to schools, okay? There are some schools that when you get a fellowship, you can get an assistantship. And there are some schools that when you get an assistantship, you can get a fellowship. So it works differently in different schools. So those are the things I need to say about that. So tomorrow I'll be talking about West. So I would like you guys to be available tomorrow as well. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you have any questions you want to ask about West or about graduate school applications, about anything, I'll make sure you guys have my full time tomorrow by God's grace. So thank you so much for audible. Leke, thank you for your time. Thank you for taking up the boldness to lead these wonderful people. You guys have like 20 scholars this year, right? So that was pretty good. That's pretty good. So thank you so much. Yeah, still counting.
I wait for the Aguero moments.
Still counting. So I want to wish you guys good luck. Don't stop applying. Don't stop sending out code emails. One thing I used to say is that code emails doesn't cost you money. Send as much as you can. Send as much as you can. Don't wait to get response before you keep firing on, okay? Send as much as you can. Send inquiries. And always shoot for waivers as well. Yeah, the guy mentioned about application fee waivers. Always shoot for waivers. Not all schools ask waivers, okay? There are some schools that by default, they will never have waivers. They don't program their schools to have waivers, okay? And there are some schools that they do have waivers. There are some that cover 50% of the application fees. So it varies like that. So make inquiries. Get used to the system, okay? Get used to it. When you are used to it, you'll be sending out emails while you are in a public vehicle. You are on your way to work, you send emails. Have a lot of drafts of code emails on your phone. Have a lot of drafts. Okay, those are the things that help me during mine. Anyway, I feel like sending out emails. I send out emails. I don't have to sit on my laptop before I send out emails. Okay, you can use your phone, and also you can also try and use trackers most times. Although it might break your heart because it's unfortunate when you see people reading your emails and they are not responding. So it hurts the most and it hurts less when you don't even know they read your email or not. But I can assure you that every professor read your emails, okay? Because here in the United States, they don't joke with emails. It's either they saw the mail or they just want to ignore it. So they are saying your emails. Just wait for that one person that's going to reply to your mail, okay? You only need one. You only need 1 year. Okay, you only need 1 year. One professor to accept you into their lab. So don't keep sending out emails. Keep applying. The community will also try as much as possible to support whoever they can support regarding application fees. We are not promising, but I'm really working hard towards raising that kind of situation where we can support you guys with application fees. But to the best of my knowledge, we are supporting those we can support. Personally, I'm supporting those I can support. And I hope it's going to extend to all other scholars like that as well. So thank you very much for your time. We meet tomorrow again, same time. Good night, everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much, Happiness. I'm grateful once again.
Good night. Thank you very much.
So the meeting is not over yet, please. I have some questions to address. Sorry, please. So Deborah Yanulua asked, she said, can she add Education USA OFP Scholar under Honor Award and also under professional membership? Yes, you can. Education USA OFP Scholar is not a small thing. It's a very big deal. Do you know why? Because Education USA, if you check, if you want to check your application fee waiver, if you tell them you're an Education USA Scholar, they can waive your application fee for you. Yes, I've seen it happen several times, and it's always on their website. I mean, if you really search, you see a lot. So if you tell them, oh, you're black in the AI, you tell them you're LGBT. I'm not saying you tell them you're LGBTQ. Not some people will not give you LGBTQ, but black in the AI, veteran, education USA, they will give you free waivers. So you saying as an honor, you say, oh yeah, out of like 10,000 applicants, shows that you are not like one out of 10,000 applicants, like okay, one out of the 20 people selected out of 10,000 applications. I mean, it shows that you're not small. It shows that you're very competitive and you're worthy of hope. This is what's a promising person. So you can also put it under your professional membership that you're graduate member of Education USA, or maybe fellow. Yeah, member that day. As I know if person a member. So for me, I was just a member then. I didn't get into the OFP. So Ogutade Yemisa also asked, concerning conferences attended, honors and award, volunteering, must you have certificate or proof? Oh, yeah. So in this case, it's not a must you have certificate or proof. I never put any certificate or proof here. But there's some people that they sell themselves. These guys at times they do their assignment. They go through your LinkedIn profile. Most times with applications is when it's time for review, you start saying, 10 people viewed your profile today from so school and so school. They are checking all those your lies on your CV. So tomorrow, my Oga Oloba Pen will be speaking on LinkedIn as an optimization. So you see all of that. But I'll tell you, if you don't, it's not a must you put a proof. I'm just saying like if you like to show, upload a certificate. It's not if you attend inaugural lecture, you can't give you proof that you attended. Even though it's virtual conference, the ones that you have to put, the ones that you don't put. But for me, I didn't put any of them because mine was legal, so it's legit. For my Europa CV, there's a lot of proofs there. I added it thanks to my Oga Kenya Adeoshun that helped me with that. So I'm sure I've answered that. Jibril, okay, for someone that is married and intends to move together, how can this graduate school? Okay, so if you're married, there's no problem. You can always move with your family, with your wife and your children, your side chick, anything. All you just need to do is ensure you apply, you get in, and when you're filling your visa application, you put there you're married and your family or the other people coming as a guest. Hopefully your family will be able to cover for both of you. Hopefully your family will be able to cover for both of you. So that would be, but your family can cover for both of you. You guys find it around this because your partner is not expected to work except visa status changes from left to something else. Maybe she's going to go to school there or something. I don't know. Right, so I can't really say, but that's what I know on that. Ojo Adelayo, you just joined, you don't know anything about it. No problem, you don't need to worry. Even people that never attended these events, this meeting is being recorded, so you can watch it anytime, any day. Take your time, learn. I mean, there's a lot for you to learn. Once again, please go to our website, www.jcscholar.org. Check through our webinar videos, check through our tens and get it well. So you are any hope for those GPA. There's always hope everywhere. 2.40 out of 4.0. Then you need to show that you grab that will come up in your statement of purpose. What's the reason for your low GPA? It's like you're doing work and study. Okay, so you did work and study, that was how you had low GPA. Take for example, oh no, you lost your parents, oh you had guardian, oh this like that. Whatever your story might be. How do you cover up for your low HP? What have you done for yourself? Take GRE, you have numerous publications to show that yes, you are really, you have this zeal, you have the enthusiasm. I mean, you're showing that even with my CGP, I'm still able to summarize well. How can you turn your weakness turn your weakness and your challenges to success, to something positive, and converting your negativity to positivity? So it's not really about the CGPA at times, even though your CGPA matters, because one thing I've noticed is there are different, all of us have different thoughts, different experiences about this thing. For me, it's been about 5 years I've been on this. What I would say is most professors, when you send them emails, you attach your code email, you attach your CV and your transcripts. So your transcript is a very important thing, and appears going to talk about transcripts tomorrow and your West. So when you check your transcript, you check your courses, especially those your background courses, those your first year and second year courses. Do you have this strength? Do you have this high grades there? How can you how have you worked on that? Have you taken professional courses? What have you done? That's what you need to do. So you are going to have hope definitely once you've turned your negativity to positivity, because they check this scores, and if you are low, you need to do one of the things to make it better. Because they check this score, and why do they check this scores? Because you're coming in either as a TA or an RA. And as a TA, you're conducting laboratory experiments for students. So you that didn't pass well, how are you going to conduct laboratory experiments for students? They believe so much in your transcript that even your certificates. So there's too many things for it's a baby step process. You can't know everything in 3 hours. You can't know everything in 6 hours. Even if I make this boot camp a week, you can't still know everything. You need to get into the process, do it, face challenges. Oh, okay, this way, learn how it. Then I'm sorry, we have to make this thing tight and as fast as possible, because it's weekend and most people are always busy during the week. So that's why we have to make it just Saturday, Sunday. Thank you for you guys coming around. Thank you once again. I really appreciate everyone else. I don't know if we could show the video or video so we could take like a snapshot. So please, can we turn on our camera? I would like to take a screenshot of the snapshot of our event, please. Hello, are we there? Can you hear me? Hello.
Hi, sir.
Okay, please can you just turn on your camera? I just want to take a snapshot here, that's all. Everyone is not turning on their camera. I don't know why. Yeah, the brother Josiah, brother Charity. Okay, I can see Spring, I can see Anulupa, I can see Damian. We're seeing others. Okay, yeah, thank you, nice. A minute, please. I got that. I got okay, so yes, that's good. Yeah, I got that. Thank you very much once again. Thank you very much for joining. Looking forward to seeing us tomorrow. Looking forward to us sharing this flyer. Looking forward to us telling as much people, we can all win together. I mean, nobody shouldn't, we can all win together. We can all at the top. I mean,
No, can you come again, please?
yes. Yeah, so I said it shouldn't be lonely at the top. So please, let's share the fire, let's share the link. The turnout is low. I'm not happy. I want to get at least like 200 people tomorrow. Thank you very much once again. If you are taking the GRE,
Thank you, sir.
Polytechnic graduates, please share with Polytechnic graduates, please. They need to be here tomorrow, please. Very, very important. It's going to help everyone else, because there are ways they should do their own application. Yeah, bye.